guys hearing me okay?
Yep,
Okay.
we're live, I see us.
We are live. Okay,
Yep.
good. All right, we're showing as...
I'm also hearing us on the screen.
Okay, good. So we have 49 seconds. 38, and then full screen, 6 players. All right, just missing hologram. Everybody looks good there. That looks good. That looks good. I think I pulled it off somehow. All right, we shall see. All right, very good. So we're gonna have fun, and thanks everybody for being on today. I know some of this stuff adds a bit more stress and sort of, it's just different than when we're in the room together, but I appreciate you all doing it, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's kind of get our heads straight into that zone, and we are going live in 3, 2, and 1. All right. Welcome, all Blue Box fans. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we have, I think, a really fun session planned. We're like everyone else. We're dealing with the, different things of our quarantine and all the impacts that's creating for us. But I think we're going to have a great session today. And if you're a fan of Blue Box, you've probably seen a lot of our Campaign 1 stuff. And Campaign 1, of course, is our Rise of the Rune Lords. That's based on the Pathfinder Galarian mythos. And today, this is the campaign that actually precedes Campaign 1, so I guess we have it backwards a bit. But it was our first campaign on Blue Box. We started it 3 years ago, and it is based on the Lord of the Rings 4th Age. And I'll talk about why we did 4th Age and sort of the thinking behind that in a second. But we are, getting now to the latter stages of that campaign. I want to thank all the players for being on today. They've actually been working with me for the last hour to help get all the audio and video right. And it's a different world we're living in now. Everyone remote. That's never been what Blue Box was typically doing. Blue Box was a local game stream. So we had everybody in the room playing around the table like I did back in the late 70s as a little kid. But today we're doing all remote for the first time with 6 players. And I am really excited about all the players we have. So we're going to do some mic checks, make sure everybody sounds good, and we're also going to do a bit of an introduction and sort of what happened last time as well. So let's start out with a quick go around. I'd like each of our players to announce themselves. Go ahead and give us your name, your class, race, level, and maybe something about your character you'd like us to know.
Me first, I guess?
Sure.
All right. I
Hey,
play...
thank you so much.
Yes, so I am Marthaliel Gladwin. I am a Noldor elf, which is high elf for Pathfinder understanding folks. Noldor is the Middle Earth equivalent of a high elf. Cleric, level 12. Yeah.
And you sound great. Well done.
Thanks.
Let's go to you, Chris.
I am Brule, dwarf paladin from the 2nd Age, so kind of out of my time.
Well said. All right, and let's go to you, Edalus.
I am Edalus. Currently, I am schizophrenic, and I also think I'm Turin-Turinbar. I am a 10th/11th level fighter, and got a little bit of a temper, but hopefully, and kind of a chip on my shoulder, but that seems to be resolving as we go through our adventure.
Bit by bit, perhaps. All right, let's go to Dan.
I'm an 11th level rogue halfling, name of Antel Bowens, but most people call me Ant. But don't cross me by referring to my ant like.
You've had one player that's kind of flirted with that a bit, and I think it's not going to play out well for them. So, yeah, don't cross the ant for sure. All right, and let's go to Azimir.
You're muted.
I'm Asmir Theragal. I'm a level 12 half-orc warrior, and I'm very strong, and I like doing my push-ups at all times of the day.
All right, well said. And then do we have Matt? Matt seems to have...
I shot you a text, DM, so...
Oh, okay, hang on one second here. Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, no problems. So if you could go ahead and give us
Coming back right now.
Oh, okay. I was going to have you do it, but since he's coming, we'll wait.
Yes. Just a second.
No worries. Well, while we're waiting, so we'll come back to him. Let's do a quick summary because we have folks that have never seen the show before, never seen the stream before. And I'm going to go to Edalus. We're going to have our own Evelyn give us a summary of what happened last time in a moment. But let's have you give us a quick overview of what's happened sort of over the campaign arc.
Sure. So I'll probably need a little bit of help with certain names and places. So if I appear to be struggling with that, please jump in and help me. I did not get a chance to go through all my notes, but I have been taking notes over 25 sessions, I believe. So this all started with a caravan outside of Minas Tirith, the White City. And I, Edalus, was running from my past. I had fallen in with a band of thieves, more or less. It turned out that was part of a much bigger, sinister plot. But I was leaving that, and I was always very bitter because I wanted to be a ranger. And my father had fought during the War of the Rings, but I never felt like I could live up to those standards. So I joined this caravan, and this caravan was on its way to the White City. Already at the very beginning, you'll recognize a few of these characters that were part of this caravan. Marathaliel, the beautiful female elfish high elf cleric. Ant, the rough and tumble halfling. Halgrim, the absent-minded mage with a bird familiar named Bob. And then there were a few other members of this caravan, and as we headed to Minas Tirith, we first encountered what I'll call the Cave Adventure. We were joined, we found during this adventure an elf named Corendithus who was unable to hit anything he shot at.
Our ranger friend.
Poor Corendithus. That was, yep, he did. He struggled.
We also found that the mage was very good at a lot of things, but one of the things he struggled with was identification of arrows, because he was absolutely insistent that arrows that appeared to be goblin arrows were actually human arrows.
He did. He did insist that.
That's just a trademark.
That was.
We'll never let you live that down.
Arrow, not human arrow.
But during that time, we saved a young boy that had been part of the caravan but taken away, and we had to fight some Urukai. We had some very close encounters where we almost lost people from the party. There were other children that had been trapped and captured by these goblins and Urukai, so we were able to recover them and continue heading to Minas Tirith. And it turned out that young man, that young boy, was a member of the royal court in Minas Tirith. So then we made our way to the White City itself, and there will be a couple things here that may happen a little out of order as I mention them, but I think they're probably important. So certainly, if you're hearing me say something out of order, and it's important, throw it out there. I may get to it, I may not. But in the White City, one of the things I should note, I always held a grudge against King Elisar, because I felt like members of my family had been mistreated by him.
Which was part of your backstory from over 3 years ago, and that kind of got woven into the campaign. But yeah, it was a great backstory, Steve.
So we actually, because of what we were able to do and save this young man, we were able to gain the favor of the king. We were sent on a quest for a Palantir. There were things that were happening throughout Middle-earth, where unfortunately the War of the Ring did not end the evil after all, and so now we're on this quest to find the Palantir. Now I'll just note I've already gone 3 minutes. I'll try to start speeding up and skimming across the things, but there's a lot to cover. And so while we were in the White City, however, Ant, it turns out, had led a gang, and we went through this whole adventure where Ant had an opportunity to face former members of his gang, and I don't know if there was anything from that in particular that we wanted to just kind of note, because I believe there was at least one member of that gang who we were unable to finish off.
Yeah, so Anne, is there anything you'd like to add to that? Because that was obviously part of your character and your backstory, and I'm going to work on your tiny head here. We have to get you a little bit bigger on the stream. But yeah, go ahead, Anne.
There's not much to add, and I haven't thought about that in a while. That was 5 sessions in, maybe, when we got.
It's been a while.
Like, there's the leader of that band of thieves that we ended up.
So you had Dirty Lem, Fat Older, right? Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
And so he escaped, but yeah.
And Ant was able to have a moment of triumph. Halgrim cast a spell on him briefly that made him very, very large and huge as he was finishing off the fighters, and as we were triumphing in that moment. That was a pretty big moment for Ant.
True.
So then we headed out with the support of the king, and I had an encounter with the king briefly where he had basically apologized. It was clear he didn't know exactly what all was the offense, but he was incredibly humble and gracious, and that really changed Edelis's perspective significantly at that point, just as a side note along the progression here. So the band made their way. We were heading out towards this particular library, and I'm going to need somebody to mention the name of that, because I unfortunately took bad notes on that one, where we suspected we would find clues to the Palantir. On the way, we stopped at a place called the Juggler's Hall, where Marathaliel got to show her chop.
The Juggler's Hall. That was, yeah.
Actor.
Did a wonderful job, absolutely phenomenal job. And a little gnome entered the scene that was very mischievous and created trouble for us, but also ended up joining our band, our merry band. There was a conflict between a couple of actor guilds, and they kind of sort of were at each other's throats. I encouraged them to fight. One accidentally killed the other, and then I immediately killed the other one as punishment. And so apparently I brook no fools, my character, and that was kind of shocking, but kind of the dark side of Edelis, I guess. There was a stranger that was following us, a suspicious character. And then we continued heading on our way. Now, along the way, and here again on the order of this, I might be getting a little off, we started seeing evidence of these portals, or these rifts in time and space.
Mm-hmm.
There was a house that was being burned down by some thieves. We rescued some people, and Ant found this special ring that would point toward these portals in time and space, and we weren't sure if it would attract them or just point to them. But in one of these portals, a giant creature came out that ended up eating Bob as we tried to fight our way and try to escape there.
Rip Bob.
R.I.P. Yes. And so that was just something that we were starting to see, hey, there's something big happening here, something sinister. As we made our way to the library, and here again, this was over the course of a long journey, and I am skipping an episode in one particular city.
Can anyone help him with the library, the name? Anuminas, let's go! That's important to Brewall, isn't it?
Yes, so in Anuminas, great things happened. We lost people, we found people. I'll just note that the gnome running like crazy to go down these steps into the dark, and other people following, everything collapsed, and there was just a great amount of chaos. And eventually, during our time there in this place full of traps, we lost the gnome, we lost Cruendithus, sadly, and
yep.
There was
Displacer Beast got him.
That's
no,
right.
I think Corindithus was thankfully on that one.
But there were some positive things that happened as well. We were joined at that point by Azimir, the half-orc, half-human, and we also fought. Now, this creature, since I didn't do D&D a lot, I recognized it, and it sounded familiar, but I believe it has a particular name. And it was in the library, correct? Like, that was where we encountered the actual Palantir.
Yeah, so you got basically a displacer beast.
We didn't find the Palantir there. I had a vision that showed us that we needed to go to the Bay of Forkel to find the
Thank you.
Palantir.
That's where the dragon is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The dragon.
The dragon. Yeah, so there's a dragon involved as well. But when we got to this area and we got some additional information that would allow us to find the Palantir, this is where we encountered a strange room full of magical runes. And Brual, I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about how you would join the party.
Well, oh goodness, that's going back. Yeah, basically, I was put into stasis back in the Second Age, and I know I've got a story here somewhere. But yeah, so I'd been basically kept in Numinous to keep me safe back during when Angmar was attacking.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So, back in the Second Age, during the Witch King's War, and you had been sent as an emissary to Numinous, which at that time was a thriving library, a seat of learning, and what ensued.
So basically, knowing that I couldn't just not do anything, I was going to fight, but the men of Numinous did not think that it would be good relations with the dwarves to have their emissary killed in battle, so they put me into stasis. And shortly thereafter, after all the battles and everybody died who knew that I was in stasis, I got left behind for
Oh, hey, thank you, DCG, for the gifted sub. Well done, sir. Thank you so much. And we appreciate both Dragon Crafting Guild, who we're going to talk about in a second, and then Gasumba. Lord Gasumba is an incredible friend of our show that you're going to hear some exciting things about in the coming months. So anyway, sorry, go ahead and continue.
So at that point, I was forgotten about in the library until this band of adventurers found me, and I woke up in the arms of a half-orc and kind of freaked out.
You may have thrown into a tree, I recall.
That's right.
We were fighting.
That's right. Okay, so
because everyone wanted to undress him and take his armor because we didn't realize he was Chris's new character because he wasn't there when we first found him.
there was that. Yes, there was that. And so look, and again, just thank you so much for our viewers. We don't normally take this much time. We like to get right into the gaming session, but we have a lot of new viewers, and also this is the campaign that only runs about once a month, and it's been a while, and we're getting to the end. So I think the narratives are very important. The story is so important. So I wanted to spend a little bit of additional time. Thank you for your patience. Let's go back to you, Steve.
So, as we were leaving the library, which collapsed on us, naturally, we made our way out heroically, and then we were immediately encountered by this suspicious character we had seen back in the Juggler's Hall who had apparently been following.
The subs keep rolling. Sorry, keep interrupting you. Thank you, High Piece of Toast, Through Theater Evie. Thank you, Dragon Crafting Guild, twice over now. All right, continue.
This story is riveting. What can I say?
And I tell you, like, I'm about to put my iPad and all of Twitch through the wall right now because I can't even get the chat up. So, sorry, go ahead.
The Palantir. And here's where I start getting a little fuzzy on the history here. So, it turns out we were being spied on, and at some point it switched from us being attacked and trying to get away from these guys to trying to chase after them because there was a necromancer leading this group trying to find the Palantir, and we ended up in the forest encountering a huge band of orcs and trying to make our way through, and that turned into a hilarious fiasco. But I just want to double check because clearly I'm not completely sure on this one. In particular, our DM, I don't know if you want to remind us exactly what the transition looked like to where we were being chased by the orcs or anyone else.
Yeah, so you were moving to the north. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. Irda, you've got it.
I was gonna say, so basically once we had gone through Numinous, we realized that we needed to head to the Bay of Forkel to find that Palantir. We actually encountered the Bone Dancer, and because they had been following us to find out where the Palantir was, they had been following us to when we went to Numinous. And as we were like heading outward, we ended up having that encounter with them and the giant chain golem. which was a near death for the entire party. We had a very close to a TPK, but we managed to be successful and stop the majority of them from getting to this massive pillar that was there. The Bone Dancer was able to activate it and pass through, but we followed him very shortly and found ourselves in the wintry north. Thanks to Hallgrim actually being able to activate it because of his arcane magic abilities. And as we went into the north, we found ourselves in large drifts of snow, slowly freezing. We found a cave in which to take respite. And this cave was full of these little brain-looking creatures.
And one thing that would be of interest to note, I think right before we ended up going through that, if this is not the right time, I'll want to remember. I think we encountered Halgrim's father, who kind of saved us from these orcs that we were fleeing through. Was that not in between this as well?
That was closer to when we first rescued the children from the goblins and things. We had taken a rest by the river when a strange man had appeared. Hallgrim saw him off in the distance, and then his robes disappeared. So we're in this cave with these brain creatures, and there was a lot of will saving that had to be done. Lots of failures. Attacks were happening against each other.
Daedalus chopped the orc's leg right clean off.
And then we all awoke, realized that it had been a very intense vision, sort of dream situation, and these brain things had gotten what they wanted out of it. They did take some of our mental energy, basically, from that.
But I think so. There's a really good point here for our friend Ant to jump in, because he really took this. This is the great part of D&D. You know, every DM appreciates this. You prep, you think you know what your players might do, you try to have sort of different options, but that's the nature of open world. And inevitably, your players take something in the direction you never expected, and Ant did that. So Ant, just talk about that for a second.
I went through this little cave, or a little tunnel in the cave, and made my way down this little cliff back there. It was completely dark, and then climbing down that cliff a little bit, I saw basically a nest of the brains, and I ended up getting too close to them, and I blacked out, ended up a little bit farther back where the party was, but not quite where they were, and they kind of found me. I didn't have my clothes on. They threw this fire jelly on me, or no, they gave me some because I was cold, and I threw it all over myself immediately. And then I ran back into the tunnel because the brain had
exactly, yeah,
a message encouraging me, saying I had entertained them, so they gave me a gift. And so I ran back in because I wanted to get another gift. Went back down in the tunnel and down the cliff, and that didn't help. They just sent me right back. And actually, that was probably when I was naked, I think. Yeah. So I was sent back with the gift, went back the second time, and was just sent back naked.
Exactly. All right. So Steve, you want to pick it up from there?
Sure. So then we were one of the gentlemen from the village there that was one of the best performances by the DM.
Best NPC.
Yeah, absolutely. Best NPC ever, who sold us some fire jelly that was able to help us with the cold and give us a little bit of information. We started heading up towards a cave that was part of some ancient area that we felt like we needed to try to make our way to. In the middle of the night, we were attacked because we had created a fire by, I forget what it was, but it was
Frost
huge.
giant.
Frost giants which I think just the rolls saved us there, and we were able to make it through the night.
I believe on that one, Ant somehow miraculously had the finishing kill, and he sort of, as the giant flipped over, he landed atop it and posed a bit in that combat.
That's right. Yes, and this was just the first of many conquests that we're going to be talking about. Dan, the Dragon Whisperer. So we headed up.
I do tend to pose a lot, but I'm the only one really
And the diffuser as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
And you're not a poser if you actually did what you're posing over.
precisely.
Absolutely. So we made our way, and there was a bridge with wind whipping around to get to this cave. I believe we had maybe seen or were about to see more evidence of the Bone Dancer, so we were on the right path. We tied ourselves together. I think Ant rode on Azimir's shoulders, or perhaps between his legs, or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. And we made our way carefully across, entered the cave, and this is where we saw the great white dragon.
And it was sleeping when we arrived.
Yes.
And so there you encountered, and I'll help kind of move this along because I do want to get this wrapped up. So you encountered Glinfear, and the encounter with Glinfear was a unique one, resulted in so we had, I think this is the third death that happened in the party over the course of this campaign, as Marthaliel was blasted against the wall. You eventually were actually interrupted as this strange planar influence dropped once you went past into the Palantir room, and you found the Palantir. The planar influence had dropped demons. He actually resurrected Marthaliel, did Glinfear, the White Dragon, based on some negotiation that occurred from the Dragon Whisperer. Now,
The Dragon Whisperer.
Now, there was a bit of coercion here at this part of the game, and that coercion was what, Ant?
I decided to hold captive the dragon's egg at the edge of my blade.
Yeah, so, always a questionable choice, but in this case it worked out. So fast forwarding.
Two other things of note that happened.
Go ahead,
during
sure,
that
please.
time. Number one, the Palantir, we had it in our hands, and then we gave it to what revealed to be not, in fact, Halgrim's father,
But his uncle?
His uncle.
One of the few times we gave up things without putting more thought behind it.
And the second amazing thing that was cool was Halgrim banished in one amazing
Balrog.
roll the Balrog, which was stunning, and that was another huge thing that happened.
That was a...
We also had a death in that fight.
That's right.
Yep, that's right.
Thaliel, who was then resurrected, thankfully.
And so from that incredible debacle, what transpired next?
Glenfear sent us back to near the White City, where we yet again fumbled because the advisor to Elisar was coming through and saying he was going to meet with the elves and that there was all these problems with the Palantirs, and we kind of let him go, and it turned out he had actually been a bad guy who stole the Palantir from Minas Tirith, which we didn't find out till we got back there. So we let two Palantirs slip through our fingers.
And Elisar recommended we head towards Dol Guldur because that's where the elves were supposedly still trying to cleanse the taint from that area. And we found all of their bodies scattered around the ground when we arrived there to try to get their aid in...
Which Marthale was not happy about.
No, yeah. When you were one of the last ones, seeing all of them dead is a little traumatizing. Not gonna lie. And we went into Dol Guldur to see what we could find, and we actually found the Mouth, the Mouth formerly known as the Mouth of Sauron, now known as the Mouth of Melkor. So we had an encounter with him. He was able to escape, just barely. And then we emerged out of Dol Guldur and continued through
With Halgrim's real daddy, finally.
with Halgrim's father, who we successfully had rescued. And then we had found these orbs, or an orb.
The orb of nefarious transport.
And but we realized we needed another one to possibly use them in the way they were intended to be used. So we continued on into the forest and encountered a bunch of orcs who had surrounded us. We were trying to find our way out of there, which eventually led to Azimir fighting the champion of these orcs and successfully destroying him on the very first round of combat.
One of the most annoying things that can happen to a DM, and it absolutely happened. So you have a great sort of lead villain, you know, my big bad evil guy. He had a backstory. He was this. I thought maybe he might even be a recurring villain, but it is a real life danger when you're running sort of the more old school rule sets. So in the new stuff, which I'm fine with, I'm not against it, but you know, your criticals are a ×2, ×3, right? So you're not going to slay something in one attack by tripling damage if you have a really high hit point creature. But we run with these oft-reference Middle-earth role-playing table crits, and they can be fatal in one blow. And sure enough, Azimir, tell us what happened.
Well, I felt as though I was being taunted a little bit by the orc tribes, and felt it was my duty to slay him in one strike, as I successfully did. And as we came out, he walked sort of nonchalantly, underestimating my abilities, and I slid right between his legs and slit him under his bowel areas, and then came up on the other side and stabbed him through the back of the head through his mouth. So
If only
Yeah.
he had seen you doing push-ups.
Yeah, might have altered his perspective a bit. Yeah, for fair.
And
All right.
with that victory, we obtained the second orb of nefarious transport, where Hallgrim's father made a sacrifice and placed the orbs to his eyes and sent us off into a strange and very far away place. It was a small island amongst the sea, a little rocky thing, no trees, just some grass and scrub, and what looked like a monument, sort of monolith thing on top of the highest point on that island, which ties back to Edelis's story.
We actually appeared on a little baby island right next to it somehow, and somebody decided to throw the halfling across the water.
No comments about halfling tossing, okay? No, we.
But yes, so and then that goes back to Edelis's story.
Go ahead, Edelis.
And we did summarize this before, so just at a very high level, it turned out that this was the grave of Turin Turambar. The ghost of Neonor was there, and this was the point where Edelis, when he reached down he took the hand of the ghost, the memories of Turin Turambar that had been solidifying, now he's full-on schizophrenic. He thinks he's Turin Turambar, he's struggling to know who was who, and there was an encounter with the ghost where it was as if you've ever read The Children of Hurin, where it left off, Neonor had killed herself after she found out that she was actually the sister of Turin, and Turin had slain the dragon, but then he was also cursed at the same time as he died, and then married. This story picks up as if they were remembering that very, very recently. And so Edelis / Turin was very distraught about this. In the grave were his bones, and then his great sword of lore was there, with actually refused with his own body, with his own bones. And so he took that up, and that's now we're finding out more about. It appears that Turin is somehow rejoined Middle Earth, and then we had another attack from one of the portals that came through. I think that may have been
another Balrog. It was a much more powerful one as well.
And so we managed to fight our way through that battle, and then another portal was coming in on its way. And so thankfully, Halgrim was able to, I believe Halgrim was able to transport us back.
Using the orbs again.
Yeah, so each orb was consumed, the first one on the way there and the second one on the way back. And so you found yourself back just about a day outside of Minas Tirith. As you rode back to the city, you found something quite interesting.
we encountered a very enigmatic gentleman singing songs to himself by the name of Tom. Tom Bombadil came upon us and warned us via his songs that we were coming to the final epic.
And I'm a little hurt that you felt like my Nordic fellow was one of my best NPCs, because I thought Tom Bombadil, I thought I killed it, but I guess
Very
not.
close to
Lord.
rap
Like-
slash singing.
To be fair, the Nordic guy was an original creation. Tom had existed.
True, which is harder, by the way. Like doing I'll do an original creation anytime. I don't even like Tom Bombadil. I mentioned this on the stream. Like he's one of my least favorite LOTR characters.
Did we
But,
lose Brual?
Brual, yeah, he may be.
It's frozen.
You're frozen, so you should be able to unfreeze your camera. If you start and stop, hopefully you won't reorder on our stream. Go ahead and continue.
Tom basically let us know that we were coming to the final great battle, and that we needed to be well prepared. And he made us a magical feast with food and drink, and some people were very wary of eating random food and drink from a strange man in the forest because, now we have trust issues.
And bear with us for a second as Brual comes back in, because on the stream you're seeing
yourself, Bartholomew.
nothing.
And let's see. From there, we actually ended up resting. The people, everyone ate of the food except for Hallgrim, and everyone who did eat was fully healed. We did gain +2 on attacks, our attack bonuses, because of the food, and any spellcasters are able to cast an extra spell for 24 hours. Which is really nice. And then as we continued on our journey, we came out of the edge of the forest to the road. We saw a field across the way full of the scattered remains of various of the planar entities, as well as the soldiers that had been defending Minas Tirith from all of these incursions. And we as we got closer to the city, we could still see parts of it smoking and big sections damaged. And
Thank you so much for our patient viewers, by the way. We were really jacked up there for a second while we waited for our 7th player to come back in, but he's back. Go ahead and continue.
And we found various bodies, all scattered about in the city itself, and continued making our way up to the highest point in the city where the actual castle is. We found King Elisar, Queen Arwen, and several of the other soldiers and their attendants in the courtyard near the White Tree, which had been damaged by the portals that had been coming through the city, and it had actually been opening and clearing out through the same place in that section of the city every day at the same time. We had been listening for a bit to hear what had been happening, and we noticed something strange. Apparently Hallgrim's father had actually survived. We did not think he had, but he was there with a cloth wrapped around his eyes. But something seemed a bit off about Hallgrim's dad, and realized that in fact he was the mouth in disguise. And he revealed himself, and that fight was real quick as well. And
You're
then...
welcome again.
Sounds like you're taunting the DM right now, which is never a good idea.
No, I was just explaining what happened. And then we had some discussions about what to do to try to find where all of these Palantir had come together, where they were trying to bring Melkor back into the world from where the Valar had trapped him outside of the Holgrim decided he was going to go into the portal, and we did not know how that would end, if it would go well or if he would die. But we agreed to it. Portal starts coming. A couple of very large monsters get dropped out. Holgrim jumps in, and then it goes to Holgrim. He has to figure out what goes
Sorry,
on.
that just cracks me up. I missed that particular episode.
Yes.
It's hilarious to hear. He wanted to go in the portal. We didn't know if he'd live or die.
Exactly. he did indeed, and that's pretty much exactly how it happened.
Yep. Basically, Holgrim said he was going in whether we liked it or not. At the end of the day. So he jumped in, and
Well, I would have made it my personal duty to throw him in had he not.
So while the rest of the party readied for battle against these two monsters that had fallen out of the portal, Holgrim was inside trying to see if he could figure out where this ritual was taking place. He tried casting a spell and immediately realized his magic was no good there.
Didn't work.
And kind of had a moment of panic and had to calm himself and center himself and think to find the answer. And he found his answer, and
Thinking was a remarkable challenge for the mage in this situation, who thinking should have come second nature to, but yeah, he definitely was uncertain for a bit.
But as he looked through the portal at the end of the episode last time, he realized that it really hadn't gone very far since he had jumped in. It was as if time had completely slowed down where he was, whereas everything was still moving outside. It looked to him as if it hadn't moved at all. So he was readying himself to come back through the portal, as we did not know if our companion was alive or dead, and prepared to fight the monsters. And that's how the last episode ended.
All right, so thank you so much. We spent 30 plus minutes on that. We will not do that again, but it was, I think, useful. We'll clip that. We'll put that up on YouTube as well for anybody that wants to catch up on the campaign as we get through the later chapters here. Before we start today, thank you everyone for watching. We got quite a few viewers. As always, shout out to Dragon Crafting Guild, who has these incredible dice trays. Not just dice trays, reach out to him. He does some cool other stuff, things like this DM screen here, my Blue Box and Riven Realm DM screen. Incredible work. We have Atris Minis, all of our great friends of the show, like 2 Dungeon Masters, the aforementioned Lord Gasumba, some great folks out there in the community. We're promoting old school OG P&P roleplay, and we're going to get started now with today's session, which begins with combat atop the hills. Minas Tirith, as you see, the White City is being attacked by these strange planar creatures. Chunks of the city have been pulled away from previous attacks. Halgrim has disappeared into the portal, and Elisar and Eowyn stand aghast as their soldiers try to fight back against these 2 incredible creatures, both of them looking insectile, this large arachnid looking demon with giant red eyes all over its back. It stands nearly 10 feet tall atop its legs, and it kind of moves forward with massive pincers. You see poison dripping off. On the other side, this metallic looking silver scorpion, massive claws, mandibles. It snaps at the air. Electricity arcs around it. Halgrim again gone, and that's where we will start. Let's kill the pleasant ambient music, and we begin. Let's switch to the newly configured battle cam. So you have a sense of the overall view here. You can see this is the part of, let me grab this, so you can see here, this is the part of the Minas Tirith, which has the portal, the platform, which goes out quite wide. So you're going kind of backwards here toward the city. You have the new white tree, which has been replanted in the 4th Age. You have the 2 demons here and here. And then you have Elisar and all of the party. So quick note before we start, we do have different minis today for both Marathaliel and for Halgrim, because they're not local, they couldn't bring their minis, so they're sitting in their houses. And so Marathaliel, this one right here, if you can see on your screen, and in fact, let me go to the closer battle cam. And you can see a little bit more there. And so Marathaliel, this is your figure here. And then Halgrim, your figure is right. Oh, it's not there yet. Yeah, because you're still in the portal,
so
right?
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm using Irda.
Exactly. Yeah, but I thought you might be
All
familiar with her. So.
That's fine.
All right, and battle begins. As we start battle, of course, we're going to begin back with our old school D6 for initiative. So we're doing party-based initiative. This is new for this campaign. We've been running it in the other campaign for about 6 weeks now. And so I need you to pick one who's going to be rolling initiative for the party, and the battle begins.
Who wants to roll initiative?
Edalus.
Edalus? Okay. D6.
4.
Solid roll.
4.
And the Eagles that left, do we have any sense of when they might be back, or if they're for sure not going to be part of this battle? At least our best awareness.
You don't know.
Okay.
Good question, but you don't know. All right, so 4. I rolled a 4 as well.
Okay, so reroll.
Reroll. 5.
2.
All right.
Alright, what's everyone's initiative bonus so we can figure out who goes first?
So you'll go in order of your initiative bonus.
I think mine's +7.
Mine's a +4.
No, mine's +6.
+4.
Okay.
What if Anton, so you're 4 as well, and Brual 2. So okay, so Azimir first, and then
Marathaliel and Brual. And what was yours, Edalus? 1? Okay. All right.
yeah.
All right. All right. But they go first. So you see the first of the creatures, the massive scorpion. It reaches out. There's one of the guards of King Elisar. He stands there in his livery. He turns. His sword gleams bright in the sky. His blue cloak and tabard look brilliant in the light. He cries out, "For Elisar and Eowyn!" He swings his blade as the creature snaps out with its first claw. You see it grabs him. It cinches around his waist. It lifts him high into the sky. It shakes him around. Ah! He's thrown over the side of the wall. Disappears into the ether. He swings again. This separate claw snaps to the other side. This guy went over the edge. And the claw snaps air. The guard ducks underneath. The second creature turns toward Edalus. Edalus, you see these mandibles dripping with poison. You see it sizzles as it hits the ground, like an acidic sort of dissolving into the stone. As it leaps forward, it tries to pin you with 2 massive foreclaws. Remind me of your armor class?
AC right now is 24.
24. The first claw strikes. It dives right through your thigh. You feel it pierce down into flesh. The second, you kind of pivot away. It smacks into the ground right next to you. You see the stone actually chisels a bit away. From the first strike, you take 28 points of damage. And then you see it lunges for you with these mandibles. You're able to get your sword up just in time. You kind of press it in between the mandibles. This creature snaps right towards you. Now we go to the party. It is your turn, Azimir.
I'm gonna do Death or Glory as I run at I'll run at the one with the eyes all over its back.
Okay, you're right there. This is your
Take my
mini.
sword with 2 hands, and I just plunge it down on top of him.
Okay, roll to hit.
All right. It's a 38.
That is a hit.
Okay, second attack is a 41.
That is also a hit.
The third attack is a 39. So
3 hits.
3 hit. Alright, so I'm rolling so well. Alright, 14 plus 9 is 23. 23 plus 11 is 34.
Okay.
So that's 112 points of damage across all 3 strikes.
Azimir, you hew 3 times. Your blade swings, it bites into the carapace of the creature. You see the carapace splits. Orange ichor spills out. It also appears to be corrosive. You take 12 points of damage from the corrosive blood that hits your body. You feel an energy sort of swells around the creature. It gives an insectile cry that pierces your ears as you do so. But
I forgot, did we get a bonus? What was the bonus from Tom Bombadil that we got?
Plus
Was
2
it,
to your base attack bonus.
and then all the
Plus 2.
spellcasters got an extra spell.
was
At our
that,
highest level.
so is that also the damage or just your base attack bonus?
Just your base attack bonus.
Okay, never mind.
And hey, quick question. I want to make sure, how's the audio sound for everyone? We've got pretty good, pretty loud battle music, all right, and good. So for any of our streamers on Twitch, if you can let us know, how do all the players sound? How do I sound? How's the ambient music sound? We're working with all the levels, and I can make some quick tweaks if anything needs to be changed. All right, let's go ahead and go to Marthaliel.
All right, so I am going to. I see these before me, and I'm going to kind of wrap my hands together, and I'm going to cast banishment on them. Because I can cast it on one or more extraplanar creatures as long as they're within 30 feet of each other, and it looks like they are.
They are exactly about 25 feet apart, so yes, you can.
Alright. So this is a instantly cast spell for creatures of 24 hit dice because of my level. And it's a will save, and the will save on it is a DC of 19.
DC 19. All right. Marthaliel, she casts her spell. You see sort of a pale green light shoots out from her hands. It briefly surrounds each creature in a halo. As it grows in intensity. The first one, a nat 1 on the saving throw. All right. So you see the giant sort of scorpion creature suddenly it disappears in a halo of ozone and lightning sort of crackles around it. You hear an ear-piercing cry, and suddenly it vanishes from sight. We go to Ant. Ant, I don't know if you can see where you're at here. No height jokes there I'm making. But you're right here, sort of standing in the back. You're behind the white tree. You were laying back a bit. You see, as Marthaliel casts this spell, suddenly one of the massive creatures vanishes. So the portal, it's sitting right here above, and it's actually starting to spin over the top of the white tree now. All right, so you're about 30 feet away, but that's not a problem. Knowing Ant's battle style, I assume you're trying to sort of flank him?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, so this is Ant, and you sprint around the side. You move past a soldier who's moving toward the creature, crying out on behalf of King Elisar. You come toward the side, and it does not seem to have noticed you. You have flanked it successfully. Roll to hit. You're a little bit quiet there, Dan?
13.
Okay, and you're a little bit quiet, by the way. If you can move your mic closer or up your volume just a bit. All right, so you come up. As you swing your dagger, this creature towers above you. One of its insectile legs smacks you away. Your dagger is knocked almost out of your hand. You narrowly are able to hang on to it. You may strike again. All right, so again, as you swing, the creature's legs hammer into the stonework atop Minas Tirith. You're trying to get your blade in, but it's small and the carapace is strong and the legs are massive. You can't get a strike in. We go to Brual.
That's not going to hit. That's 20.
Not a nat 20, I assume. A total of 20. All right. So you swing your hammer. Bang! It hits the side of the carapace of the creature. It does not penetrate.
22.
Same thing again. You swing from the other side. You're unable to penetrate. We go to Edalus. Great timing, Edalus.
I'm going to attack.
Oh, he switched.
That's 16, and then plus 22.
That is a hit.
38. All right. Sorry, I'm going to call it Vital Strike.
You're right. Okay. We call this the honesty cam that Edalus is using here.
Edalus, you can do it on your third attack, which is the best time to do it because you get full attack.
And I will call Vital Strike on my second attack.
Go towards the center more. If you can.
Okay, and plus 20.
Plus 17.
Seven.
Plus 22.
22, yeah, it's a vital strike, so 33.
There it is.
That just hits.
Right there.
Okay, and with my Vital Strike, does that mean I get the same...
double the damage.
And then your third attack,
Or, unfortunately,
and so that misses.
no, that's 26, so I don't know.
Yeah, it misses. Mhm.
Alright. Okay, so I got 2 hits. First one is 17,
Okay.
and then 13.
Did you roll that twice? You got to roll that D8 twice for your vital strike.
Yeah, the first time I rolled a 7 and then a 3. Do I roll another one?
Yeah, so you hit once. That was your first roll, was a 7. Now your second one you hit as well. That was a vital strike, so you roll that damage die twice.
Sweet. Alright, 4.
4, okay. 4 plus 3. All right, so Edalus, you swing twice. You feel your blade, the black steel, sort of absorbs the light as you swing it. You feel it pulls at you. It bites through the carapace of the creature, finds meat. Again, that same orange ichor spills out. You take 14 points of damage as it sizzles on your body. The disc spins as it goes over the top of the tree. You hear, "Ah!" and you see Halgrim comes flying out of the disc. He lands with a thud, hits the tree, flies over, bam, slams into the ground. Halgrim, you take 12 points of damage as you hit the ground. You have no attack this round, and we roll initiative.
Okay.
And whoops, new die. DM rolls, a 1. Most unfortunate.
I'll let somebody else roll this one.
Okay. Do you want me to roll it? I'll roll it. Okay, here we go. Also a 1.
Okay, roll again. DM has a 3.
2.
Party initiative once again goes to the creature. This time it maintains its focus on Edalus. The first, it strikes down Edalus. It glances against your shield. You're able to knock the foreleg away. The second one comes through. The nat 20. So you can see it in the light there. Nat 20. Now we go to confirm the crit. What happens if Turambar die? All right, so the 8 plus, nope, no crit. And then lastly, the fangs. It bites And that is a hit. All right, so you take the first blow of the foreleg. It pierces through your armor, catches you in the side. You feel the flesh separate beneath your armor, and you take 22 points of damage. As you kind of react and pull away, you feel the fangs lock onto your shoulder. You feel them bite down. Poison is injected into your body. I need you to make a saving throw. This is a fortitude save, DC 24.
I rolled a 19, which and I don't know if this applies. That's crit for a weapon, but that's not a natural 20 for the save.
No. But if it's a 19, you have more than
9.
Yeah. So you're fine. Okay. All right. You feel the poison starts coursing through your veins. You start to shiver, but you're able to fight it off. You take still though an additional 18 points of damage from the blow, and then the creature lets out a shriek. I need everyone in the pretty much everyone on the platform here. Needs to make a saving throw. This is going to be a will save, DC 20.
My internet went out for a second, so what do I need to roll?
Will save, DC 20.
Exactly 20.
Same here, natural 20, plus 3, 23.
Okay.
I rolled a natural 1 plus 7.
Okay. All right.
I got a 9.
All right. So and then I need to roll for everyone else on the platform. All right. Oh, that's not good. Okay. 1, 2. All right. As the creature shrieks, it's the strangest sound you've ever heard. It reverberates. You feel your body start to shake. The ground underneath you vibrates. Bits of stone and dust start to lift up off the platform. You hear some of the guards screaming, "Ah!" They grab their ears. Everyone that made your save takes 32 points of damage. If you missed your save, you take 64 points of damage. You see...
I'm dead. I had 10, and that's minus 32.
So 10.
TF.
I'm also dead.
Dead, both of you. So you're at minus 22 now, and you are at minus what, Ant?
Like 30.
Minus 30. Well, you were at 2?
You said minus.
Oh, you got the full 64. Okay, gotcha. My bad. All right. So you see Edalus.
DM.
Yes.
I too am dead, but as I go out, I want to use. You can't see that.
The Fate Chip. Greater Fate Chip. All right. How we use that Greater Fate Chip?
To keep Edalus alive.
All
I
right.
think we could do more than that. Are we able to re-roll the creature's action?
So if you have that's not a minor Fate Chip. That's a Greater
It's a
Fate
greater
Chip.
one, yeah. It was a
All
greater
right.
one.
It's a greater one.
So if that's a Greater Fate Chip, I will allow you to use that. You can then create a half of the damage. So everyone that took the full damage on the party, you can make it as though they made their saving throws, which I was fully prepared for them to both go. That is the danger that we're in now. You're in the last stages of this campaign, but that Greater Fate Chip will drop anyone that missed your save. Your damage goes from 64 to 32. The guards.
Still under Edalus.
No, I'd made the save, so I got half damage. What does that
Okay,
mean?
so
Yeah.
you're-
So half the 32.
Right. Exactly. So
Also
everything.
half the 32?
Yeah. Everything gets halved for the
so
party.
you're just unconscious now?
Yeah, I'm -7.
Okay, so you're fine then.
Just double checking though. The poison. Does that mean the poison didn't take because of my?
Yeah,
my
you-
fortitude
Yeah.
save?
Yeah. So your fortitude save.
Unconscious at -7. Yep.
Right. Exactly. Go ahead.
Ant, are you unconscious or dead?
Unconscious now.
Okay.
-1.
Okay.
Life. Or
Okay.
no.
All right. So you see Ant.
1 life.
Ant is hurled back by this concussive sound that reverberates. 3 of the guards, their bodies just they disintegrate. They actually explode from the inside out by these vibrations, and their bodies fall into bits and spray of blood and bone all over the platform. You hear Eowyn cries out, "Ah! and you see she slumps over. Elisar wraps his arm around her as she looks limp in his arms. Now we go to the party. So, Azamir, you are still up. You can attack.
Just got to. There's just one left, right?
Yeah, that's right.
There's only one left.
Yeah, can you see if you can see it on the battle camera or not, or if you have that up, but yes, there's one left.
I have my character sheet up right now.
Okay.
All right. All right, I'm just gonna attack. That's 37, so that hits. Does a 33 hit?
33 just hits.
Okay, and then I'm gonna do improved vital strike on my last attack, and that is a. Oh wait. Yeah. Okay, my last attack hits as well. With a 41, and then.
Okay, roll damage.
All right. That's 9. 11. 30.
Just FYI, I also have improved vital strike, so next time I'll roll 3 instead of 2.
Right.
That's 107 points of damage this time.
All right. Azamir, as you continue to hack away your giant great sword in huge sweeping arcs, you tear chunks out of the carapace. You take an eye off the top of the creature. It skitters. You take from the burning eye core another 18 points of damage as it sort of burns into your skin. We then go to Marthaliel.
Alright, so at the sight of several people falling to the screen, Marthaliel has a momentary, okay, and pulls herself together, and she's going to cast Mass Cure Moderate Wound, which the range for that is 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels, and I'm level 12, so.
Okay, yeah, so you've got everybody in range.
And I can heal up to 12 people, so I'm including myself in this, but I can heal up to 12 people.
Okay.
And no two of which can be more than 30 feet apart. So if as long as everyone's within that. 30
Yeah. So again, you're looking at a very, very compact battle area here, so everyone is in range.
So this is a mass cure wounds, moderate wounds, and that is. Let's see. I have to figure out all my math here.
Marthaliel holds her hands in the air. A warm yellow light suffuses the platform.
So that is 33 points of damage,
or healing.
Right, 33 points of healing restored to everyone who up to 12 people. So that is all of us, and then whoever else needs it of the.
So yeah, so there's actually a total of, so you can get everybody on the platform, including the guards which are still alive, Eowyn and Elisar. So this healing light glows across the platform. Is there anyone that is not conscious now?
Basically what they see as I cast that is normally my hands are what glows as I place them on people, but she actually becomes completely suffused in bright white holy light, and it expands out from her as this kind of wave of light coming out, and they feel the warmth as it touches them.
Outstanding. So is there anyone that is not conscious? So that brings everybody back, okay? Now, if you were unconscious this round, you still do not get an attack, right? That'll come next round. So then we're going to go to Brual.
I'm gonna attack him again.
If you were conscious at the beginning of the round, and were made unconscious during the round.
No, so if you went unconscious, you're unconscious. You're kind of staggering up. You receive the healing. You're a bit disoriented, so you'll be back in action next round, but you do not get an attack this round. All right, sorry, Brual, go ahead.
That was a 1.
Oh, okay. That's fun. Roll again.
4.
Okay. All right. So, Brual, I need you to roll percentile dice, please, sir. That's not good. Golly, that's not good.
77.
No, the double ones are the worst.
All right. So we, well,
Forgive me, friends. Fortune has never been
Master of Doom and by Doom Mastered. All right. So no, the doubles depend on what they are. This one's not. See. Okay. So I'll read the literal sort of Middle Earth role-playing table here, and then I'll give you the DM Neuromancer interpretation of what happens. So the table says you stumble. This classless display leaves you stunned for 2 rounds. With luck, you might still survive. So as Brual swings, the reverberation that occurred from this creature's shriek, the stones underneath you are kind of rattling with this sonic power. You stumble a bit, you overswing with your weapon in your desire and passion to avenge your fallen friends. You overswing, the ground beneath your feet slips. You fall to the ground, thunk. The wind is knocked out of you, and you're on the ground, stunned. It is time for initiative.
Oh, Edalus.
Act his age.
Edalus.
I didn't get it.
Hallgrim should have been.
Hallgrim, but you were unconscious, right?
No, he didn't go unconscious.
Oh, right, okay.
Because of the face.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so Hallgrim, sorry, you go ahead before we roll initiative. Sorry, I didn't mean to deke you there, Edalus. Go ahead, Hallgrim.
Alright, so I am going to attempt to use Scorching Ray on the beast.
Okay.
So I need to do a ranged touch attack.
All right.
To hit.
Go ahead and roll.
It is 23 to hit.
Wait, is that a nat 20 you rolled, or? Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at his roll, not yours.
An 18 plus 5.
Okay. All right. So that's a miss. As you reach out with your ranged touch attack, the creature's arms are flailing back and forth. You're kind of still a bit disoriented, having dropped out of the portal. You thud to the ground. You leap up. By fate, chance, you still have an opportunity. You reach out with your touch, but your arm is batted away. You're unable to make that contact.
So, what was that you rolled, Matt? An 18? Okay, just checking. So we can roll a pretty good roll and still not hit. All right.
Depends on who you are, what you're doing, and how strongly, how actually you've upgraded your skills and attacks. I would think a ranged touch at your level should be a little better than +5, but I'm not entirely sure. So you want to make sure. I'm going off what you tell me your bonuses are. You got to make sure you've leveled up your characters, your skills, and you have the actual. So if you look at like what Azimir, Marthaliel, Edalus have done. All of their attacks are correctly leveled up, and it makes a huge difference. So, all right, initiative, here we go. And the DM is a 5.
Who's rolling it for us this time?
I'll take it.
All right.
I'm
Come
believing
on.
that this is going to be a 6.
Come on.
It's a 1.
Oh no!
All right, the creature attacks again. So as Edalus fell, and I get to get this all sort of simultaneous action, as Edalus falls, before he is healed by Marthaliel, the creature has turned its focus on Azimir. Azimir, it lunges down at you. Remind me of your armor class?
Oh, it's only a 22.
Yeah, you're used to a different character, right? Thunk! The first foreleg pierces your thigh. You bat the second one away with your sword. It comes at you with the fangs, and that is a miss. So it hits you one time. As it bites into your armor, you take 18 points of damage. And you see it begins to hum. You hear that same sound begin to well inside its throat, but it is not prepared yet to discharge. We go to Azimir.
I'm going to do hold on, I'm trying to see. Okay, Weapon of the Chosen. and if I miss on one attack, I get to re-roll
Okay.
that roll so my first attack is a hit. It's like 45. My second attack, 11 plus 23.
That's a hit.
Okay, and then my last attack is a 10 plus 19.
That's
so
a miss.
29, so I'm gonna re-roll that one, and that is a 13 plus 19.
That's a miss.
32. By 1.
By 1. That's right. Missed by 1.
All right. Okay, so that's 8 plus 10 is 18 plus 40 is 58 points of damage on those 2 attacks.
All right, you hew away again. Huge bits of carapace fly off. The creature, one of its legs folds underneath it. It staggers. It's still alive. It sweeps and rakes. The ichor that sprays out on you does 14 points of damage as it continues to sizzle your flesh. We go to Marthalio.
All right, I'm going to look around and I'm going to see who appears to be the most grievously injured person, and I'm going to go to them. So I know there's a few of us injured, so who needs me the most? Tell me what you look like.
Don't give us hit points, just describe.
I'm just
good.
on the ground, like, yeah, just laying there. I'm okay.
All right.
I look like I've lost exactly 20% of my total hit points. But I'm not going to tell you what those are. No, I look like I'm bleeding pretty profusely, and but bravely, you know. Well, normally I'd be cheerful, and I have a slight frown on my face, which tell means I'm bravely injured.
He's bleeding bravely.
So rules down, but not horribly mangled or anything. You're fine. He looks. Edalus looks injured, and how are you looking?
I'm good to go.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to run to Edalus. I would rather not cross paths into the melee range of the monster.
You're not. You're right behind him there, so you're not actually
right.
crossing the melee range of the creature.
All right. Perfect. So I'm going to run up to him, and I am going to cast. Let's do a Cure Serious Wounds on Edalus.
Okay.
So that's 3d8.
So Edalus, you feel a gentle touch on your back. Soothing warmth floods your body. You feel your wounds begin to cinch up.
That's 28 points of healing.
And we go to Ant. Ant, you see all this happening before you. The creature kind of staggers over. One of its legs is folded underneath it from the massive blows that Azimir continues to rain down. What do you do, Ant?
I'm gonna grab my dagger again and run the opposite direction of this creature, and then stop basically just whatever distance I can make it, and then let go of my dagger, and then I'm just gonna yell as loud as I can, I believe in you guys!
All right, so
Totally do it!
Ant, as he grips the, what is your blade called?
Dirk of Impudent Urgency.
Dirk of imprudent haste, not impudent
Haste.
necessarily, but imprudent haste. You grab the dagger, you sprint. Everything seems to slow around you. You see the blue sky hanging off the balance of the Minas Tirith peninsula that extends out from the city, blurs past you. As you sprint toward the wall, you stop. You resheath your dagger and you call this out, and you all hear Ant call out his words of encouragement to the party from a safe distance. We go to Brual. You kind of roll over. You're trying to stagger to your feet. You are still stunned. Edalus.
Come, Iron of Death, earn your name. I swing at the beast in front of me. 19 is a crit for me.
Or potential crit, right? So roll to confirm. Now, hold on. Hang on. Wait. So before you roll, I like the role play. I like the reference to Iron of Death.
I 17, so it counts.
That's fine. I'll let you keep the 17, but I'm also granting you advantage. So you have one advantage. You can use it whenever you want. You don't have to use it now, but you can use it at some point that you choose.
Inspiration is the 6.
Yeah, the advantage is you roll a second d20.
Okay,
Take
so
the
then I
higher
roll.
number.
Now I go ahead and roll my second.
Yep.
And do I have to declare advantage, or just can I see what the result is first?
No, you have to choose it
roll
before.
it with advantage to begin with. So
I will roll the second one with advantage. 6 is my first roll. 20, natural 20 is my second.
Oh!
So I get to confirm that.
Yeah, so roll to confirm.
Natural 20 again.
No! Okay.
I don't have my
God.
You're messing with me, right?
Vital Strike. Son of a bitch. I meant to slow it down. Declare Vital Strike. So to be clear, the reason I was taking advantage on the second was because I knew I could.
Right, I
I've
know.
already used it this entire fight, though, right? So I don't have it.
No, you can both use Vital Strike, and then you can use Improve Vital Strike in the same combat, two different rounds.
If you have.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
used
if you have
Vital Strike
both.
before. I was gonna use.
But wait, I want to be clear. So you rolled a nat 20, and then you confirmed it with a nat 20?
With a nat 20. Yep.
So that's the second critical?
yeah, he got 2 critical.
No, that's his...
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
With a 17.
Okay, all right, let's...
Third attack, improve Vital Strike. I want to see
I
it.
wanted to improve.
All right, go
I wanna see
ahead.
this.
Improve Vital Strike.
Right.
Another
And
20.
of course, I don't have my roll camera on, so this is
Yeah, no, I
all
do.
BS. But, 7, which plus base attack right now is 24 base attack bonus. So.
What's your base attack, plus your blade, plus your... Yeah, okay, so that's a hit.
Okay.
All right,
do I
so
need to
roll
use
both
percentile
criticals. I need to, roll the percentile dice twice. On the second one, I need you to
dice?
add...
88 for the first one,
All right, add 20 to the second one.
and 16, so 36 on the second one.
Okay, all right, so on the 88, yeah.
Edalus, tell me what it looks like.
Edalus, describe the scene for me.
As I nod to Marathaliel for the heal, and my eyes connect with Ant for the encouragement, I hold my blade out in front of me. Lacho Kalad Dragomon! I slice right down the middle as I charge through the middle of the beast to the side of the Icor, coming all the way out to the end. Come back the other way, slicing each limb off, and I stomp on the head as it falls to its side.
The creature twitches as Edalus does exactly as he described, sort of destroys this creature slice by slice, calls out another fantastic battle cry, add inspiration to a future roll. Fantastic battle cry. I'm also going to give inspiration to Irda, incredible healing during the combat. The creature falls to the ground. The Icor does spray out again. This is monstrous, so it's going to be everybody within range. That includes Azamir, includes Marthaliel, and includes Edalus. All of you take 18 points of no will save on this guy. Yeah, just it's the Icor. He didn't get off its sonic attack. The acid hits your body. You feel burning. The creature twitches, and it slumps down onto the ground, dead. You see one of the guards is just burned to death by the acid as it strikes, and he falls over to the ground screaming, "Ah!" Almost melts into a puddle of acid.
Is he like melted?
Yeah, like this. So one of the other guards behind him was hit. He's clutching his arm. So there were 3 guards remaining. Now 2 remain. One of them clutches his arm. Acid burning down the side of his arm. You see Aowen is being cradled as Elisar backs up the healthy soldier. And the one, even with his arm burning, protect the king! Protect the king! And they start trying to back Elisar away from the platform.
Of the 2 gods that were killed, right? Are any of them still like a whole person?
Yes. So no. Actually, no, and no. Actually, they've all either been exploded through the sonic attack or dissolved by acid.
Dang it. Okay. Well, there goes that. I was going to try something, but with everyone who is still alive, I'm going to just cast the channel energy, and give a positive channel energy for some healing. for everyone, and that's 6d6. So excuse me for 1 minute.
Again, Marthaliel's healing power spreads out. You see LSR and the 2 guards, they kind of move behind the white tree. You see another limb was sheared off the tree by the disc it went overhead, as it went overhead.
25 points of healing for everyone. Who needs it? Within my 30-foot radius.
Almost think who doesn't need it at this point.
But yes.
All right, you see the guard whose arm had been burned by acid. It is knit. He looks around stunned. He kind of looks over at you as he's backing the king and Eowyn away from the platform, and he offers you a nod of thanks.
And she just kind of like gently smiles at him. All right, well, that was quite interesting.
So the platform now, Elisar cries out, "My friends, come with us!" And he and Eowyn back away with the guards, heading back inside the castle. The acid still sizzles on the platform. Of course, the fallen creature, its body just kind of pouring out this orange ichor into the cobbles. It kind of moves through the clefts and crevices of the cobbling stones on the platform.
All right. I follow after the king and queen.
I search the skies for the eagles one last time as I back away.
All right, so Ed, let's go ahead and roll d20 for me. Add your perception, please.
19 plus perception of 14.
So as you look, you actually do catch sight. You see a great distance off. It looks as though the eagles are flying in a circle, probably 1.5 miles outside of Minas Tirith, around the city.
Who in my party would I, at this stage, feel has the best long sight? I assume it might be the elf.
Yeah, that's right.
Marathaliel,
Yes.
in the distance, do you see the eagles flying in a circle?
I will find out.
No need to roll. I mean, clearly,
Okay.
if Edalus sees, he points your attention to it.
Alright.
You see the same thing I described, but I'll give you a bit more detail. You see there are perhaps 8 to 10 of these giant eagles, and they are flying in a circle as you watch them for a moment. They're probably 2 miles out, and they're sort of circuiting Minas Tirith.
All right. Yes, I can see them, Edwards.
Mark their position. Perhaps they found something of worth.
Okay. And I just kind of make a mental note of where they seem to be circling out.
Okay. All right. What's everyone else doing?
I'm currently skipping back to join the party. Get
You-
back there, and I just say, I knew you'd do it.
I listen to my sword as we make our way down.
You feel it's vibrating brightly in your hands. You feel a sense of pleasure that emanates from the blade, and a voice hollow in your head. You are perhaps not as worthless as I first thought. I enjoy the taste of that blood. There will be more ahead. Wield me well, and I will serve you until perhaps I drink your blood once more.
Mirthless laugh.
Insert mirthless laugh emoji. All right, well done. All right, what's everyone else doing?
Bob and I step up to Minas Tirith and smile.
The tree puns.
Bob kind of grips your shoulder. Though he doesn't hear the pun, he feels it in your head, and he is disapproving, and he bites into your shoulder a bit more deeply. Azimir, Brual, what are you doing? Brual, you kind of, you get up, you see Ant skipping back, you see Elisar and Eowyn moving back toward the palace.
I'm just
it's-
following the party. Wherever,
Queen-
Okay.
they go.
Queen is Arwen. Eowyn was the other one.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Arwen's the elf. Eowyn was the human woman.
Oh, right, that's what I meant. Yes, sorry, that's what I meant. All right, so you follow back, all right, and then Brual, what are you doing?
I'm taking up the rear, just kind of grumbling to myself as we walk back into the palace.
Okay. All right. So you make your way back into the palace. You see there's a bustle while they have become accustomed to these attacks. These have been happening for several nights, as he told you before. To see the king put directly in danger and the injury to the queen, the entire palace is broiling with energy. You see guards rushing back and forth. LSR, Erwin is now conscious, and she kind of looks around. She briefly makes eye contact again with Irda. You feel, or I'm sorry, with Marthalio. And as she looks at you, you feel a sense of a moment of empathy and connection. And then she's whisked away behind some doors. You are ushered by the guards with the king until you find yourself in a large room. There's a fire burning. There's several padded chairs sitting around a giant oaken table, deep, rich wood. You see tapestries on the walls all around you, and LSR slumps into the chair, and he's, whoops, no, wrong one. And he says, he does not sound like that.
No, betrayed again.
And he says, my friends, I seem to owe you thanks. I do not think we would have overcome had it not been for you. Perhaps you can bring some sanity.
Right.
What on earth is happening here?
Well, it seems to be that time is growing closer to them completing a ritual, them being your former advisor, and the
I was such a fool. He puts his head in his hands.
one of the blue wizards are trying to use these Palantir to, well, open a portal to bring Melkor back.
Blue wizards. You speak of the Astari against us.
One of them, his name is Palando. He seems to have shifted his alliances, but as we've seen before, that's not all that uncommon, as we have known of the wizard Saruman had done the same.
And you said the purpose of these Palantir was to bring back Morgoth.
Yes, they have found some way to make them work together to open a portal of some sort.
You see, he just kind of, he appears almost beyond words. He slumps down in his chair. There are a couple of his guards standing in the back of the room. They look very concerned for the king. He breathes heavily for several moments and just sort of seems to be...
Lord, there still may be hope. Be comforted that, unless I am crazy, Turin Turambar has returned. We have the great sword. And the Eagles have located either what I believe to be the great helm of the dragon, or perhaps the location of the ceremony. We have actions we can take. We have survived the night. And even though Morgoth is indeed treacherous, we still have hope.
He stands up. You're right. I just never thought when I stood on this platform and I watched my friends, such brave friends, that so soon again would tragedy befall us here. I thought we would have an age of peace. I was a fool. Turin Turambar, the legend, reborn?
I have his memories. I have his sword. Perhaps we will not share his fate.
Then you have whatever aid I may provide. What do we do? I'm not accustomed to asking such questions. I normally have the answers, but I don't.
We must find a way to stop this ritual at all costs. Otherwise, I fear the world as we know it is doomed.
Then
There
How?
does seem to be some action we can take. We must rest and repair our wounds as soon as possible, and seek the aid of the Eagles once again, either to find their position and find what is there, or perhaps prepare for the closure of this portal, if that is the location where the ceremony is taking place.
and you
Must
said
move
it.
fast.
And you said this was happening where?
I look to Marathaliel.
Shire, right? Oh wait, I don't know.
We don't know that. Only Holgrim knows the answer to that.
Is the portal still visible?
No, you're inside the castle now. Everything's passed out on the the platform.
Oh, right, yeah. Actually, I look at Holgrim and just shrug.
That is the bit of a problem, as we do not know. Though, Holgrim, what did you find when you went through that portal?
Elisar's eyes kind of drill into the wizard.
It was a dark place. There was none of my magic worked. It all seemed based on intent, on will, on thought, almost. I did not gain any useful information from that, unfortunately.
Did you see nothing while you were there? Anything at all? Visions or pictures or anything? Even if you did not understand it, perhaps someone else here
Perhaps
might.
the fall hit his head on the way down. He doesn't remember quite what he saw.
Perhaps he needs a moment to recollect his thoughts.
Well, Elisar, he looks at his guards. Give them time, my friends. I must check upon my queen. Whatever they need, whatever they require, it is theirs. He kind of looks around the room again. You can see the courage that he took from Edlis' words seems to have waned away at the uncertainty now that unfolds the party.
My king, if your wife is in any need of my abilities to mend wounds, I would like to offer my services, if I may. It is my duty and the will of my lady that I do the best that I can to help and heal. So please let me know if there is any way at all that I can be of service to you or your wife.
He looks over at you. You see genuine gratitude in his eyes. He almost seems to be a bit choked up for a moment. He gathers himself. I seem to be often in your debt, and I thank you for this. Should she need aid, I will reach out to you, milady. Let me attend to her. He steps out through a door and closes it. The two guards remain behind. They look at you expectantly. You're now alone together in this room.
Helgrim, would you be willing to avail Rock and ask him to communicate with the Eagles and find out more information about what they've discovered? Obviously, you don't want him in danger, neither do I, but if you think there's anything that he could do for us, the more information we have, the better.
I'm fairly certain that he's been wanting to talk with them anyway, and I don't think they would view him as a snack, so I will be happy to send him over to commune with them for a bit. I communicate as much
As soon as you say this, you see Rock pushes off of Halgrim's shoulders. He kind of slips sideways through the crevice in the door as the guards are closing it and disappears out into the hallway.
Friends, we must rest up and be fully prepared for what comes next. I'm going to try to have my armor repaired and repair myself, but I think we need to move out as soon as we can.
Before we rest for the evening to mend our wounds and to give the opportunity for those of us who cast spells to refine ourselves, I would like to do something before we rest for this evening.
You see Azamir kind of step forward as she's saying that. He's clearly a little bit There's
I-
blood still seeping through his arm.
Azimir anticipating what he thinks she's saying.
Do you mean the ritual?
I have a bit of a special spell that I have recently found from my lady. In prayer with her, she has taught me how to create a feast, a great feast, that will allow us to perhaps fare better in any fights we might have ahead of us.
I like the
for
sound
the
of
next
that.
day. So I would like to do that for us, but probably right before we are getting close to our evening rituals and things. I do need an hour to create this ritual, but after that we may feast and drink and celebrate together. And so she's basically letting them know out of character. She's letting them know that she is going to cast a Hero's Feast for the party.
Okay, outstanding. All right, anyone else doing anything?
And since Azimir pointed out that he needed some healing, I am going to. I am going to. How bad do you look there, Azimir?
I don't look torn up, but I do look scratched up, as I am a hardy. Can take a lot, but I am definitely not close to 100%.
Okay, so I'm going to do a Cure Moderate Wounds on you then.
All right.
And that's a 2d8. That's a terrible roll. I'm sorry, it's only a 15.
Thank you, that's plenty.
All right.
Okay. So you feel the healing power of Marathaliel. Anything else the party is doing? Rock is off.
I thought of something that I saw that may be of use to us. I'm not certain. It might be useless, but I did see a ritual taking place in the Shire. So that is at least a direction to go.
Were the hobbits in the midst of a ritual?
I do not remember seeing hobbits, but it was a strange place. I may be. My perception was definitely obscured.
Perhaps this is the ritual we've been seeking.
Perhaps indeed.
Would we? Let's see real quick. Would there be anybody who would know, just based on the location of the eagles, whether that's even in the direction of the Shire or in a different direction?
No, so you saw them. They looked like they were circuiting Minas Tirith in a circle. So they weren't headed in a direction away.
I see,
They
I
were
see.
literally sort of circumferencing around the city as though they were waiting for something.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right. So yes.
Perhaps we can ask our eagle friends to check this out, if that's possible.
Perhaps I do wonder how they would be able to safely get without if what is going on there.
And how long it would take for them to go and return.
Right. I do not know.
So, all right. Anyone else doing anything before she casts the Hero's
How
Feast?
far are we from the Shire?
You would know you're hundreds of miles from the Shire.
If this is a ritual we have to interrupt, and that is in fact the location, we will need to find a way to get there quickly. I do not think merely hopping on some horses will get there fast enough.
Perhaps the eagles could fly us there. They would be able to get us there possibly more quickly than horses would. Other than that, I do not know perhaps how we could get there faster.
Halgrim, do you think you could find out through Rock if that's an option? I would be quite amazed and pleased if that's something they could assist us with.
I nod to Edalus and mentally relay that query to Rock.
Okay.
I
All right.
immediately go and start having my armor repaired, start updating my provisions, and try to get as much done as I can within the hour for that.
Okay. Go ahead, Martha.
Are we nearing our normal rest time, like what time of day is it, basically?
Yeah, so it was late afternoon. You can do a rest here. In fact, that was the expectation that LSR left you in here with.
Okay.
They were going to provide victuals, but of course, Marthaliel has something much more robust planned. So what we'll do is we're going to allow. She's going to cast that. Describe again what the party sees as Marthaliel makes this.
All right, so what she does is she kind of just sits down and makes prays a moment to center herself to make sure that she has all of the support and energy that she needs to be able to do this, because this is a fairly big spell for her. And out with her hand, she kind of gestures out, and you see through this hour, you see a large table that comes first. It's quite ornately carved wood, mahogany. It's gleaming, well polished. There's a beautiful crimson and gold runner that runs down the center of the table, and plush chairs for each of us lands upon the ground around the table, matching the runner on the table, comfortable arms, and upon at each place there is a beautiful golden charger that sets itself upon the table with white ceramic dishes upon each of those spots. Down the center of the charger, you see massive platters, gleaming, piled with delicious meats and fruits, and there's cakes and pitchers of wine and water, and some steaming cups that appear to be possibly they smell of strong aromas, possibly coffee, that sort of thing. And it looks delicious and perfect, like the best smelling and most beautiful feast you have ever laid your eyes upon. And as the spell ends, some small candles alight the table, and they take light and to set the ambiance. And before you, a beautiful hero's feast.
The table is resplendent as described. The aromas fill the room. The guards, their eyes look stunned as they stagger back, and they sort of look at one another. What manner of magic is this? As each of you sits down and you dig in, you're still reminded of the amazing meal that you had last time you sat around a campfire with a certain eclectic individual, and yet this is incredible. As you enjoy it, we'll have opportunity for all spells to be restored. Healing will occur this night. I've taken notice of Edelis's comments. Any armor sort of repair, resupply. So we're going to take a 10-minute break. While we're on break, if there's anything that you need that's basic supplies, you don't need to consult with me. Whatever you need, rope, if you want lanterns, if you want grappling hooks, if you want caltrops, if you want basics, arrows, anything at all, you can get what you need. If it's something magical or exceptional, we'll need to talk about it after the break. But any basic supplies are provided to you without restraint. Go ahead.
Should I note what the benefits of consuming the hero's feast are now, or wait till later?
Let's wait for after the break.
Okay.
And we're going to come back in 10. And so thank you so much, by the way. We've got several folks that have been tuning in today. We appreciate all the viewers that we've had. If you've watched the stream today and you haven't followed us yet, or you're not a sub, we do have one question for you. What are you doing? Everybody's late. Let's try to get ready. 1, 2, 3. What are you doing? And we'd enjoy that so much, and we'll be back off break in just a moment. All right. So if I have this set up correctly, we should be able to still hear. But, nope.
brilliant.
You know,
All right, and
that's
we
Naomi
are
Watts, right?
yeah.
Naomi Watts is in the new one. Is
Yeah,
that
she plays Dougie's wife.
We started watching King Kong the other night, and I was like, wait a minute, what else have we seen her in? She's in
Yeah.
something else. I'm like,
Well, and
oh my gosh, 'cause I haven't
was in
seen
a-
much of her. But
She was in another Lynch movie as well. She was in
yes, Mulholland
Drive.
Drive, right? Yeah. So those I'd seen her in so few things. It was just, and she has like, okay, whatever my genres are that I like, Naomi Watts' movies overall just don't overlap it at all. Even though I've heard her name all over the place. So it was so wild that watching King Kong, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Naomi Watts. Wait, that's also the new Twin Peaks. That's crazy.
Hey,
All right.
Can you go ahead and
Sure.
approve that request I put in the Slack channel?
Yeah. Hang on a second here.
We heard it. He said yes.
Boom, boom, boom. 1 second here. I see it.
No, just
Oh,
you
hey,
went-
we're live, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Welcome back.
Yeah, you might have missed that
I was
part.
saying positive things about Naomi Watts. We know she's watching this.
Yeah, right, exactly. Hi, Naomi.
Thanks for talking about.
No, we're live. I love your honesty cams, Steve. You've done a great job of kind of tweaking that. Although we are missing the masculinity of your chest when that's popped up there. But
So I'll just pop that up only when I'm rolling, so that you can see my 19s and my 20s.
all right, you're gonna have to show us how you do that afterwards because I think that's so
Yeah,
cool. I don't know if
that
anyone
is
else is
cool.
doing this. Your request is absolutely denied. Would you like to share? I'm going to shame you on stream now, Hallgrim. Would you like to share with our viewers what you had the audacity to request?
1 bag of holding for each party member, each filled with an infinite number of wands of wishing.
I like it. I like it.
You know, I think so. So there was an old school phrase for campaigns that just threw all kinds of things at players. You could get whatever you wanted, Vorpal blades behind every chest. What was that thing called? I've mentioned it before, I think. It was based on an old game show. It was called Let's
Oh.
Make a Deal.
Let's make a deal, yeah.
And so those campaigns were called what? Did anyone remember the, or you probably not remember, but you could Google it.
I've seen
The
Let's Make a
host's
Deal.
name, it was named after the host of Let's Make a Deal.
Was that Howie Mandel? Was he?
And no, this is way before
It was
Howie
in a
Mandel.
newer one.
Yeah, there's
the old
a
one.
new
Oh.
version, the classic.
So let's see if can any of our viewers tell us what is the name of a campaign that is just overly rife with powerful magics, completely unbalanced, gives the players anything they want to. Oh, hey, Gasumba!
Very fun.
It was Monty Hall. Your Monty Hall campaigns. That was synonymous with giving away way too much, way too powerful of magics. Okay, so we're gonna get back into our role play here in a second, and we normally have a lot more battle cam action. But of course, we're getting to some fairly epic scenes in this campaign, and also it's the first time we've had all 6 players remote. It's sort of a different thing that we're working on today. I think we're okay. It's so far, except when Chris decided to kill his cam, and everybody on stream got to see our shoulders for about 5 minutes. Thank you so much, Chris.
Blame AT&T.
Yeah, great trivia. Adventure League, said Captain Redbeard. Monty Hall, definitely Gasumba would have it. And I gave him a shout out earlier. I don't think he was on, but we're really, really excited about what we're going to be doing with Blue Box and our Greyhawk campaigns coming up here very shortly. It's going to be a lot of fun, fantastic new communities we've been connected with, and there's going to be a lot of fun role play in all of that. And we are really bringing back the OG, which is Original Geek roleplay. All right, so we're going to jump back in. There will be no bags of holding and wands of wishes. Sorry very much to Hallgrim. But
After our Feast of Heroes, I do want to check in on one thing real quick.
yeah, okay, so go ahead. Let's do any sort of. All right, so we'll keep this.
So I want
OOC. Yeah, so we're going to do OOC first, sorry. So anything you want to do, if you need supplies, things that you want to talk about before we begin roleplay, we can do that now.
So I want to check with King Elisar if he has seekers or anyone that can help with locating objects, and I want to speak with them about the possibility of attempting to find the dragon helm, or getting a sense of where that might be. That would be, I mean, I'm sure it's completely fruitless, but I want to talk to him about people in Minas Tirith who might be able to assist us with that.
Okay, good. All right. Anyone else?
I would be just prepping all of my things. Just I don't use my sword very often. I have it, but I don't use it very often. But I'm going to make sure that my armor's in good shape. I'm also going to pull out the old journal and write in it to describe what has happened over this day. I had previously written of our encounter with Tom Bombadil before our sleep, but I'm going to talk about the Holgrim jumping through the portal and the monsters we fought, and what we have learned in there.
Okay. All right. Well done. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm checking in with Bob, see if he has any information from the Eagles.
Yeah. Okay.
Excuse me, Rock.
Yeah. So you've got Rock out with the Eagles. All right. Anyone else?
Oh, Bruel's going to go back out to where the tree of Gondor is to kind of get away from the hustle and bustle and commune with Aule. He's feeling a little unsure of his connection with his deity.
Okay. All right. Very good.
I am asking around for some better armor, as the armor I have clearly will not suffice in the upcoming battles.
All right, so let's go ahead and run through real quickly. I want to say, I don't know what's going on with chat today. The chat's really been messed up. So I think we've had people that have been trying to chat us and it hasn't quite worked. And I'm not sure why. But thank you for those of you that have. We're bouncing in and out. Like I just did a cheer and gave some bits from another account, my DM account, that didn't pop up on here. But we did have Redbeard, Captain Redbeard, who is a common and fantastically participative viewer that we have here. He's on every Sunday with us on our Sunday campaign, and he dropped 500 bits. So Redbeard, that was before the break. If you're still on, you can tell us what you'd like to do with those. So you can now assign advantage in this campaign, and it's 1 per 100. So you have 5 advantages you could give out. If you would like to, just tell us the players and/or the DM that you would like to give all those advantages to, and we will do that. All right, so we're going to go in sort of a reverse order of requests. Let's start with Brual. So Brual, you wander through the hallways, and this is the most sort of benign of party splits, because you're all in the same area. You wander through the hallways, you see several of the guards, they give you a nod of appreciation as they see you walk by. And then you come out through the main doors, and you see the incredible platform of Minas Tirith sort of arrowing to a point toward the mountains in the distance. It's now morning. The sun is just cresting in the east, and the winds are cool and crisp here in the area. As you walk out on the platform, there's no one here. It's desolate, peaceful. You see the new white tree planted just more than a decade ago. It grows, but 2 of its limbs have been sheared off by these portals that spin across the city and do incredible damage. As the wind blows, you walk over toward the tree, and it sort of whistles past your ears, and you find yourself alone out on this portal. Just tell me again what you do.
I take my hammer and place it directly in front of me, and I take a knee, and I begin to just call out to Aule.
Then do so.
Aule, I know, as sure as you place the sun in the sky this morning, you have brought me to this place for a purpose.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I fear that my connection, our communion, has weakened because of these many years that I spent in solitude, alone. I will need your strength in these coming days, or I fear I will be of no use to this party.
As you pray, you realize everything that's happened since your reanimation in the ruins of Anomalous, where you lay for centuries. You've been slowly awakening, and you thought yourself awake in the first few days, but then you had a deeper sense of awakening. And then you thought perhaps as you moved on through the frosty north and the Bay of Forakel, that you had begun to really sort of reanimate, and you felt like you were there. But now, as you pray this prayer, as the wind sweeps across the platform, Minas Tirith, and it's simply you alone with the white tree, there's an energy that starts to infuse you. You feel a sense of awakening, an awareness, almost celestial power that infuses you, and a touch, a gentle touch on your heart. Your prayer, you know, has been heard. There's a strength that's been infused you for the coming days, and a soft voice whispers through your ear. Your aid will be needed. And it disappears in the wind. All right, we're going to switch, and we're going to come back to the rest of the party as we have Edalus out, or pardon me, Brual out on the windswept platform of Minas Tirith, and you feel an echo in your head, Halgrim. Rock speaks to you.
They are ready. Where you will, they will go.
It's the most audible he's ever spoken to you. You can't tell how far he is. He's not back yet in the city, but his voice resonates in your head.
Thank you, Rock. And I turn to the party and let them know that the Eagles will bear us where we need to go.
That is good. I'm glad to know it.
Azimir. So I don't know what manner of armor you have. I didn't memorize that before the campaign.
Chain.
Well, I didn't ask you that. So, but you, no, you're fine. So they actually have. You have two choices that they can find for you in the city. You have a chain, which is of moderate enchantment, which from an OC standpoint would be chainmail +2, or a full plate +1. And of course, that carries all the attendant dexterity, attenuation, all the things that happen based on the heaviness of the armor. Whatever you want, you have your choice of those two.
I'll take the full plate +1 for sure.
Okay, make sure you have your dexterity modification on that. Ant.
I have heavy armor proficiency.
Yep.
As a fighter, so.
Perfect. Ant, anything else you were doing?
I'm just drooling, waiting for that food.
And then Edalus, remind me again what you were doing.
I sought counsel
Yes,
with
right.
Elisar on a couple things.
All right, so you're told Elisar will attend to you that morning. So now we're going to go back to Marthaliel. Anything else you'd like to tell us about the feast?
Okay, so as you saw what it looked like, but the benefits of consuming the feast, should I give that out now or wait?
Sure. No.
Okay, so the benefits of the feast are once everyone has eaten for an hour, you cured of all sickness and nausea. You receive the benefits of both neutralize poison and remove disease. And gain 1d8 temporary hit points plus 1 per 2 caster levels, so that's 1d8, and I guess I rolled that. So temporary hit points as we go on to your hit point max, I believe, for the temporary
That's
hit
right.
point.
Yep.
So that is, because every 2 caster levels, so that means it'd be 6. So that is an additional 10 hit points, temporary.
So everyone was right. So everyone was healed completely. That was part of. No, you were. I'm sorry. Like so, the part of the cert that was given to you by LSR, all of the people of the White City, you were attended to by priests. So you're all healed completely during the night. But as the feast is consumed, these temporary hit points are added on top of that. So everyone should be fully healed, all spells, all abilities restored, and they get the additional 10 on top. Is that right?
Yep. For the duration of the spell, and then after imbibing the beverages as part of the feast, that's what gives that is the drink. And then the food grants each creature that partakes a +1 morale bonus on attack rolls and will saves, and a +4 morale bonus on saving throws against poison and fear effects.
So jot that down. That'll be each player's responsibility to remember. So that as anything comes up in the next few minutes, you have that if you need it.
Yeah. So that's, and it lasts for 12 hours of the day. So there you go. Enjoy.
All right. So that all happens during the evening. So all those effects hit that will carry over to the next day. Now we have moved to the next morning. Brual comes walking back in. He closes the door behind him. You see there's a bit of a sort of ambience around him that feels warming and soft. Something is different about Brual as he walks back through the doors. You see Halgrim, he's giving his news about Rock. The guards are in there, and you have been told, Edelis, that King Elisar will be attending shortly. So again, it's now just the party back in the room. The feast has been cleared. The benefits have been had. It's now the next morning. And
I'm working on preparing spells right now, just as,
sure, and that was
so you know.
all right. Good, yeah, so good. And it's now just the party. The 2 guards have been rotated, so there's new guards in here now. And Halgrim shares the news about Rock.
Do we sense that the Shire has been overrun? Have the hobbits fled? I'm just curious as far as what you were able to glean, Halgrim, from your vision. Has anything else come to light for you?
No, I don't have any new information on that. Although, now that I think about it, I see. I'm not sure if I'm mistaken, but I seem to remember that the hobbits have indeed fled. I will continue to think on this, but again, my perception has been muddled.
If this does turn out to be the ritual and we must attack, my concern was for the potential casualties in the area. So if you do sense that there are hobbits that we might need to free or perhaps to be aware of, that's all I had in mind.
So Halgrim, go ahead and roll d20 and add your intelligence bonus, base intelligence.
Final value is 22.
So Halgrim, you recall as Edelis speaks these words to you, in that vision, there was electricity arcing down from the sky. The clouds roiled in the background with a strange orange light, and there were tiny fleeing figures darting from their homes, their hovels in the Shire, toward the forests in terror.
So yes, upon further reflection, I now recall that they have indeed fled. That is not to guarantee that they have not returned for whatever reason, but at the time they had fled.
Did you notice or recall where they had fled generally? Perhaps if, as we approach, we might be able to get intelligence from them if we can contact them first to give us a little insight for those that survived.
Away from the terror, so the area surrounding. That is the best I can give you.
Like along the roads toward other towns, or just
outward, like from the epicenter, away from the center.
Okay.
I must say that as someone who is from that area, it seems like there were more likely areas to flee for cover, like surrounding forests. So if we were to be trying to go back there and help them and try to find them ahead of time, they would more than likely go to that area, I think, because that's where I would have gone.
You hear a rap on the door. It opens, and you see King Elisar. He stands, and he has the queen in his arm. And they come sweeping in, guards attending behind. I trust you have rested well, my friends.
We have, yes. I think I could say.
I have instructed my attendants. Anything you had need of. Has this been obeyed?
We have, I think, if I do
Yes.
not... Yes? Alright. It seems that we have been well cared for, thank you.
See the Queen Arwen, she breaks away from him. She walks forward. And again, her eyes, as before, they lock on Marthaliel.
I sense there is hurt in you. Your song. What is your song?
It has been a long time since I found the right. It has been difficult, and
I know.
I have been. It is funny, I find myself now here, face to face with you, for the reason I first ventured to this view many months ago was so that I could ask you a simple question, for my curiosity's sake.
She reaches out, a delicate, long-fingered hand rests on your shoulder.
What question would you ask me?
I just wondered what called you to stay behind. For so many of our people have gone on into the Undying Land, and I was called to stay by my lady Esther, as you know. But I do not, I guess, understand why one would stay behind when every opportunity was to go forth.
I understand your question. There are few that appreciate my reasons, but I forsook a mortal life for love.
Her eyes cut over toward Elisar. A slight flush hits her cheeks, and she drops her eyes for just a moment.
It must be a powerful thing. I do not know that sort of, I've not experienced that for myself. So, but to give up everything, it must be quite a powerful thing. I understand the love of family, of course, but this is something different, and it seems quite special, I guess, would be the way to put it.
She looks down for a moment, like you see, it almost looks like she's trembling. But when her face comes up, there's a lightness to her visage. I know, and yet I would have chosen no other life, and you have chosen one that you may remain behind in honor to what you have been called to. I tell you, I can sense it, my sister, the song inside you. And she reaches out with her left hand, her right hand still on your shoulder, and she just gently touches you, sort of at the top of the sternum, and you feel a warmth that kind of spreads out across your shoulders and down your torso. You breathe easier than you breathe in some time when she gives you a gentle smile.
And as I feel that like warmth go through me, I kind of close my eyes and my mind is triggered back to that moment where I was in between the worlds, where I saw what I saw, and it comes back clearer than it did before. Before it was just kind of a blur of images of lightness, but I see the distinct image of Esta, and I hear the things she said to me while I was dead and when she sent me back, and remember with more clarity, and I feel a surge of sense of purpose, and I let out a sigh of relief, and I open my eyes slowly, and I hear those strains of divine music in my head again, and I feel whole again.
She nods at you, and again that gentle smile spreads across her face. She drops her head almost in a sort of humble embarrassment and steps back. King Elisar watches all this happen. He appears to be sort of stunned by what has transpired. Your group gives me hope. There is more to you than any might see. I ask what more I can do. You, Edelis, or Turenbah, or whatever name you call yourself, what aid do you seek of me again?
My king, we have been told that our success, while not guaranteed, can be made much greater. Our chances are improved if we find the sword that I hold and the great helm of Hadar, the dragon helm. We have been unable so far to find that helm, and I wished to beseech you that if you have seekers, if you have anyone who is able to assist in finding such an item, though perhaps I am not sure if it's been lost through time. This is something that I am unable to understand, because I have worn it in the past. But it is urgent that if we are able to find that before this last encounter, that it could come of great aid. We have the help of the eagles to fly and to reach distances that we would otherwise struggle without portals or some other magic way of moving about. And this is an unlikely thing that I ask. But if there is something that you can render assistance to us, we have located where we think the ritual is happening in the Shire, and they are in need of great aid, and that is where we are turning our attention. But I fear we do not have the time to pursue multiple ends, so I wanted you to be aware of this and seek whatever counsel you would give.
As you speak, you notice as you're talking, there's a little bit of a smirk that comes on his face, and as you continue on, he's being almost patient, letting you finish talking. When you finish your final words, he says, I have not forgotten the first time we met, and your family was wronged. When you spoke to me last night and said, again, you are Turin reborn, something triggered in my mind. I spoke with my scribes. The helm you speak of, it was found. We have it here. In fact, bring it in, he says over his shoulder, and you see two guards step through. They hold a massive helm. The crest of a dragon arcs over the top of it. It's almost too large for one man to carry. It looks unwieldy, ridiculously large. But they come walking in with this helmet. It is fashioned in some sort of darkened iron. It looks weathered and aged, and yet somehow seems to be still suffused with a slight light as they walk it in. What we had done wrongly to your family once before, we now make right. And they present this helm to you.
The dragon helm of Dolorman. My father's father. Hador. This is well met and greatly appreciated. And I take the helm and I spend some time just examining it. From looking at it, whether it's information that Turambar would already have, or from what I can glean, in spite of its size, is it something that I sense I can affix to my own head?
Yeah. So even as you see the guards as they're passing it off to you, they seem to be laboring under its girth. The moment it hits your hand, it feels like a leather helm. It's light to you. Are these somehow weakened men? It's nothing to you.
I place it on my head.
You pull the helm. You all watch this as Edalus pulls the helm over his head. It has this massive dragon that crests over the top of the helm. It looks a good sort of 1.5 feet, almost 2 feet above his head. He looks like he stands almost 9 feet tall now, and what looks like it should be so cumbersome to him, almost like it would like lop his head over. He wears it lightly, and he kind of scans around the room. Edalus, as you do this, you see King Elisar steps back, and he smiles. It is true. You are him.
I do not understand it, but obviously, I too am here for a purpose, just as others in our party have found, and I will do my best to apply wisdom where I failed in the past, and perhaps I will be able to outstrip my doom, and fortune may be in our favor after all. I thank you.
My friend, I too have made mistakes. I have seen shattered dreams remade. I give you the utmost blessing and confidence. You will do as you have said, and all of Gondor, nay, all the realms of men. Oh, way to kill my roleplay, but rocket, sir!
Sorry, I didn't know if it worked. Technically, this is Thor, but
yeah, it still works. That's fantastic. Okay, it's the last time I give you a Zoom on a roleplay session. That's incredible. All right, very cool. So. He does not react in the way I just did, and he nods at you with blessing. Erwin looks over, and the queen steps before Brual. You, Master Dwarf, I sense something different in you.
Howley is a good creator. I hope that he sees me through this journey.
I think we are all upon a journey. We would do well to beseech the gods see us through.
As she looks over, she sees Ant. She reaches out and she ruffles her hand through his hair. I have known friends like you. I am glad to see you are among this company.
I am honored by you, lovely lady.
She kind of looks at you like a bit quizzically and smirks. LSR, Steve, every time I look up at you, man, I laugh.
It's completely ridiculous, I know.
She steps back and says, what? And she looks over her shoulder. Some of the guards have come. They whisper her to her. It seems you have spoken to the eagles. They await.
Then there is no time to lose. Let us make haste to the Shire.
And I kind of do a little smile and a little head tip to Arwen and Elisar, and I turn and head out toward where we need to go.
All right. Anyone else?
See,
what effect on my AC that I would be aware of, or that I can from the helm?
Yeah. I'll text you something.
That'll come later.
Yep.
Okay.
You see, Asmir, as she talked to everyone else in the party, as did the king, except the half-orc. He feels a bit discriminated against and drops his head and his shoulders and shuffles out, following Edalus and Marthal.
Okay. All right. So you all walk out. You head past. You see the guards now line the hallways. Elisar and his queen, they follow behind you. And in moments, you're back out on the platform. The wind is brisk. It's a cool morning. And as you walk out on the platform, you see now there are 10 of the great eagles that surround the platform. They look noble. They perch on the edges of the platform, 5 on each side. And they stand, or they perch sort of tall, their wings furrowed about them.
Before we go on, I clap Azamir on the shoulder. My friend, we would never have made it this far without you. After you.
My brother. Put my armor on. That's a nice helmet. And a nice sword.
That's a nice belt.
Thank you. Didn't think you noticed. Little wholesome interactions in D&D.
All right. And so, anyone else doing anything? These eagles, they remain perched along the edges. They kind of, several of them look at you. You see they tilt the heads, and you see these sharp, piercing avian eyes.
I feel a sense of dread ahead of us, friends. For this time, we are heading into something we cannot even comprehend. But I know if we fight together, we will come out victorious.
No, we are on the right track. If you sensed anything else, I would be worried.
Well, good. I am glad that I am not off the mark.
6 of the eagles, 3 on each side, they lower their heads to the ground.
And I step up to the eagle that is closest to me, and I give it a look of appreciation, because I know that they are wise enough to know and understand. And I thank it, and I take my place to help the eagle.
So you see Marathaliel, she interacts with the eagle. It turns again, this eye towards you, focuses for a moment, and there's nothing audible, but you sense an approval as the permission is granted. It turns its neck. You slip a leg over the top of it, and you feel these giant feathers that come up. Each quill is big enough you could grasp in a hand, and you almost sort of nestle down between its shoulders, its wings sort of to the sides. It erects. The other 5 remain with their necks down.
Great eagles that assisted Huron to find the gates of the hidden city of Gondolin, we thank you for your service. It shall never be forgotten, and perhaps now you embark on an even greater quest of assistance. We appreciate all that you do. And I approach the next eagle.
As you speak the words, you see all of the eagles, not just those that are down. All of them, there's a brief moment where they buffet their wings, and it pushes a wind across the platform as if in response. You approach, and large eagle sort of bends one wing down. As you slide over it, you have the same experience that I described to Marthaliel. You rest and kind of nestle between the forefront of its wings, holding on to giant quills of feathers, and it erects itself. You now sort of stare out across the abyss. You see the great distance and expanse of the hills and the mountains of Gondor before you off the platform of Minas Tirith.
I sprint up onto one doing a crazy acrobatic routine and then start rolling around like I'm on this comfy mattress. Then finally I just hug it.
All right. Go ahead and roll d20. Make an acrobatic check for me, please.
You roll a 1 and plummet off.
The most ignominious death in D&D ever. It could be happening right here. We'll see. All right, go ahead and roll. What'd you roll?
Yeah, I rolled a 6 and then I have a 21.
All right. So you see Ant. He leaps forward, running at quick speed. He does a handspring, 1/1. As he lands on the eagle, you see there's almost like an eye roll. If an eagle could roll its eyes, that would have happened. That's not exactly, but it's something akin to that. You see Ant lands on its back, and he starts nestling and rubbing around inside the feathers. Azamir.
I just slowly approach it with reverence for its power, and I stroke its neck and then hop on its back slowly.
As you hop on, you again, you don't hear a voice, but you almost sense a message into your mind that it does not mind that you are an orc. But why did you have to be the heaviest? Halgrim.
I approach the eagle confidently, but somewhat guarded.
Pull your mic a little closer. You're kind of quiet.
I approach the eagle, an eagle, confidently but somewhat guarded. I am sizing him up, and I cautiously reach out to give him some neck scritches before climbing on his back.
All right, so your eagle, you scratch the neck. You see Bob kind of gives you a look. You sense a bit of jealousy through your connection as Rock sees you. Sorry, Rock sees you do this, but easily you slide up on the eagle. Brual.
I approach the eagle. I look up at it. From the halls of the mountains, of the sky, I look at it and I say, no disrespect, but please don't drop me.
So
I climb as best I can.
You sense a bit of disdain from the eagle as you suggest that you may be dropped. As you climb up on it, it takes you a bit of shimmying. You lack Ant's vaulting or the long shanks of the others. But eventually you get up there, your armor kind of rustling and clanking as you climb up atop it. It feels quite awkward for you. And then soon all of the eagles stand and they wait as though for a command. LSR and the Queen stand on the platform. guards standing around. He looks at you as though he doesn't know what to say.
Can I ask
Friends, the Doomsman of Valor watches us. Let us be worthy of his justice. To the Shire!
Anyone else?
I just turn and say, thank you both. I hope to do what I am called to do and protect this world for you.
So Elisar's eyes seem to be trained on Edalus. He gives a smirk. He really seems to appreciate the battle cry, something he has done before as well. But the queen, her eyes are focused on you. And even though there's wind buffeting, the wings of the eagles have moved a couple of times, the flurry of feathers, the battle cry of Edalus, but the queen's words almost seem to shoot like an arrow through the wind straight towards you. And she says,
Your song and your effort will be all this world needs.
And I just say, in Elvish, Nathal Hairi Ruin, thank you, my lady.
As I'm leaving, I look at the two of them and I say, maybe one day I will be appreciated for something more than my combat efforts. And I turn the eagle and fly off, hoping.
But your moves are magnificent.
He wants to be loved for something
go ahead
more
and,
than his push-up show.
Azimir, I need you to roll a d20 for me, please. Roll d20 and add your diplomacy, which I'm sure is abysmal, but go ahead and roll it.
Let me see what my diplomacy is. Oh, yeah. Can I roll this at advantage?
Have I given you an advantage?
Yeah, I have 2 advantages.
Yeah, so you can. And by the way, as the sort of principal participants in this last scene, and I love the sort of ending components before taking off, each of you, Marthaliel, Edalus, and Azimir, get an additional advantage. All right, go ahead and roll.
Right, so I'll just use that, I guess. That is a 16 and a 15. So 16 plus 5 is 21.
Okay. You notice as the eagles mount, one of them casts an eye toward Azimir, and then it suddenly pushes off and vanishes before the others, leaving you behind.
As I have had that final moment, I grasp my holy symbol, and I also encourage my equal to take flight.
You see, Marthaliel's eagle buffets its wings, a tremendous force of wind again across the platform. Soon it's airborne, and it kind of flies a slow circuit around, waiting for the rest. Anyone else taking off or doing anything else?
Just follow.
Come on, buddy.
All right.
Love you.
So, all right. So soon in moments. Oh no! All right, I'm gonna go. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna go to his house. I'm
Fix his
gonna
internet.
rip him out of his chair, and I'm gonna hook him up with some sort of hotspot from a phone. Oh my gosh, how freaking anticlimactic can you get? Okay, so let me see. I can't do anything with that or that. If I kill this. All right, to our 17 or so viewers right now, I apologize. We've lost. All right, I can do this for a second. It kind of gets me just a bit back in focus, so you can kind of see what's going on. We're going to give him just a minute to pop back in. If not,
Oh, what?
you see here, and let's look at the participants. He's not
Yes.
there.
Sit kind of higher up.
Yep, okay. Let's give him a few more seconds. While he does so, I'd like to ask any of you if you'd be willing to break out in song. Steve, you're always good for a rap. Jordan, you could give us something from Azamir. Ant, you've been...
We need Brule for this.
The pines are roaring.
He said his power flickered and the router is rebooting.
Oh, that's the worst. Is there a storm outside right now?
There was a storm earlier in our area. I think you're all direct.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, Pat66 gave us an it's okay. Thank you for that, Pat. But it doesn't feel okay. We're at the sort of penultimate part of the game here, the streaming session. We had all of our players about to take off on the wings of the great eagles, and then we are grounded by lightning. So I don't even know how I can sort of de-escalate this. Let me kill everything here and just go back to our basic sounds. I don't think we're going to get him back in time to do anything fun with that, so I know what I'm going to do. Hang on here. I am going to add a view. I'm going to do a display capture, and I'm going to add the entire display on that side. And it's going to be, nope, not that one. We want that one, nope. That one. Hang on here, sorry everybody. Why is that one not popping? That one, right? Oh, actually he came back in, so let me cancel that.
It's showing up on there.
Yeah, let's delete that real quick. Sorry, viewers, we suck. Or I suck. Somebody sucks. We're going to let him back in. Admit. And that should fix the wonky views. Some pops back in. Oh, you had a storm up there too, Pat66. Captain Redbeard gave us a few mugs. Thank you for the mugs of ale, Captain Redbeard. We probably all need them after that little experience. And then let me bring back in the participant. There we go. That gets it. All right. So you all take off on wings. No Celine Dion songs, please. You all take on the wings of the eagles as the wind buffets around you. You launch higher into the sky. Soon all of you are airborne. You feel the power as the wings buffet, and soon the white city spirals more and more distant beneath you. The 6 that carry you are a bit closer. There are now 9. The one that flew off after some sort of interaction with Azamir and disappeared. The other 9 are all in a circle moving together. The 6 that carry you are close enough that you can shout over the wind to one another.
As we fly, I just want to keep my eyes down toward the ground, and because I have my OOC, my base perception is plus 21. So basically, I'm just trying to keep an eye out for anything that looks like this ritual that we're trying to find before we get too close to it, so that we have a chance to possibly not be seen before we're ready to be seen.
Okay, all right, so you have your eyes sort of cast to the ground. Obviously, you're just now leaving the city, but we'll keep that in mind
but
as you move on. Anyone else doing anything as the eagles spin and begin to fly toward the west?
My grip gets tighter on the bird.
Okay, as your grip gets tighter on the bird, you hold on to it. They soar higher, then they suddenly just sort of take on a straight formation, 2 by 2 by 2 with one behind, and they move quickly toward the west. You see the landscape beneath you. It moves with increasing speed. You fly through the mountains, and you see the forest, the light of morning and spring beneath you kind of illuminates the hills. And as you move faster and faster, it's almost dizzying to see the speed. If you look on the Twitch stream, you can kind of see a quick monitor share. As you fly over the hills, the eagles, they let out a cry. There's an exultation that fills you as you move through the air.
I like try to cover up their eyes just to like mess with them a little bit.
All right, so you're going to have to, for yours, you'd have to shimmy up the neck to do that because you're quite far back on the wing. So are you trying to do that?
Yeah, that's happening.
All right. So, Ant, you shimmy up the neck. It's hard to do. You're fighting against the wind as it blows against your hair. You grab the feathers and you kind of pull yourself up. You feel the eagle kind of looking, pivoting its neck as you get closer and closer. Let's see. You are in. So you're sort of in the middle of the pack. So we have. All right. So Edilus and Marathaliel, you're the front two. We have Ant and Azimir, you're the middle two. Halgrim and Brual, you're the back two. Halgrim and Brual, you see Ant up ahead of you as he's sort of scurrying up the neck of this eagle.
You fool, you're gonna fall to your death.
Tell Rock to go peck on his head.
Oh, okay, all right, yep, all right, things you don't expect, all right, so, a rock,
The eagle's head or ants?
Ants.
Oh,
Totally
okay.
ants.
all right, so, you see Rock, he looks at you and you almost sense a hesitation, the speed with which these eagles are flying, he's not confident that he can keep up or take ground.
Okay, then don't do it.
And then suddenly,
Need to lose you again.
he vanishes from your shoulder. Brual, as you're shouting this out from the corner of your eye, you see Halgrim kind of leans over on his bird, and suddenly you look, Rock's not there anymore. And you get to the top. As you're about to reach over, something heavy thunks into your back. Halgrim, you see almost instantaneously, vanishing from your shoulder, Rock appears on Ant's back. Thunk! He's on top of the eagle now, flying. Ant, you feel something heavy on your shoulder. Talons bite into your back. Thunk! Something pecks the back of your head.
Ah! Why? Why?
That's the exact same question we've all been asking, Ant.
And with that, we will end today's session. Not my typical cliffhanger, but I don't know where else to go with this right now. So you are soaring over the fields of Gondor, headed toward Rohan, atop great eagles in this most magnificent splendor. And yet still, the chicanery of Ant infects the party as he tries to scrabble his way up the neck of the eagle. And then the almost inexplicably odd timing of our great wizard, Halgrim, deposits Rock upon your back as he bites in, pecks you, and you scream out "Why!" into the heavens, and Brual shakes his head, and that's where we will end the session tonight. So we'll stop everything here, and thank you so much. Round of applause for all of our players. We have our Edilus back with his dragon helm, Thor helm. And I don't know, honestly, like Twitch has acted so strange today. I've had my phone tell me 3 times we've gone offline, but I know we haven't. We've stayed online. There's just something really, really strange happening. But I thank you for all the viewers. We've had a lot of you that have stayed on. I love the Honesty Dice Tray that was premiered today by Edilus. So I'd like to figure out how we can make that happen for everyone next time. Super cool. And great roleplay today. We had some quieter moments. Obviously, when you have this kind of roleplay session, you never know how each thing is going to sort of take place and how the players are going to move the plot forward. As a DM, you don't want to kind of push it artificially. And I thought you guys did great. Thank you so much to Redbeard, to Pat, to Shane O'Mac, who is in our thoughts with Elizabeth, Gasumba, who popped in for us. many other viewers who really participated in the stream. We were really enjoying it. And then, of course, yes, the comic relief at the end. All right, so this is where we do our vote for stream MVP. And so we're doing something a bit different now. We're going to go around to each of you, and we're going to give you, and it's got to be quick, no more than 30 seconds, because we have 6 players. You have 30 seconds to tell us why you should be stream MVP, and we have not had experience points in quite some time. I couldn't give out XP before this session because you were in the middle of combat, so there's no leveling up in the middle of combat. But I'll be getting out experience points before the next session, which will be probably very, very important. So let's start with Marthaliel. Tell us why you should be stream MVP.
Okay, well, some solid healing during the fight and the banishment of the electric scorpion, as well as my description of the hero feast. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, that was pretty epic, and you got an advantage for that as well. So well done. I like it, and so she will be 1. If your stream MVP is Marthaliel, type 1 in the chat. Let's go to Edalus.
First of all, I've got this cool hat now. Secondly, I got a double confirmed crit today, and finished off the second beast in style.
Ooh, that's pretty compelling.
And then was able to convince Elisar that I am in fact likely enough that I was able to get this hat, because otherwise you never would have seen this. The dice cam. So that's my pitch.
Well done. And by the way, players are also allowed to vote. I think our chat bot is not working today. There's funny things happening with chat. I know we've had more chats coming from our audience. I even tried to chat separately from another device on break, and it's not working. So I'm going to have to get all this figured out afterwards. So all players can also vote for other players, but you cannot vote for yourself. All right, Brual, why should you be stream MVP?
Because I'm a dwarf.
And that shuts it down. All right, let's go to Ant. Why should you be stream MVP?
Well, clearly the double crit was inspired by my shouting encouragement from safety. Like a smart person, like any real person. I was the only real role player, because I was if we're honest.
Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, let's go to Azamir. Why should you be stream MVP?
I felt as though Azamir had some particular moments of great roleplay where he really put himself in the shoes of his character. But if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to drop out of the campaign and endorse my best mate, Sir Edalus, or Turn Bar. So I cast my vote to him.
All right, so quickly, Marthalia is 1. Hold up a 1, Marthalia. Edalus is 2. Brual is 3. Ant is 4. Azamir is 5. He's hoping humility will carry the day for him, I can tell. And let's go to Halgrim. Halgrim, you are 6. Why should you be stream MVP, Halgrim?
Because last episode, I named Minas Treef. So, I mean, that just carries.
So you think that carries over to this campaign?
That's pretty much it.
Okay, all right. So he's number 6. We have 1, 2, 3 votes for Edalus already in, and we'll wait for any others. And I think this is just a perfect example. Like we have 1 for Marthaliel. Thank you, Stoves. And we have, a great 20 viewers today, and something is happening with the chat. We don't have all the viewer stuff coming through on the chat, and I know it's something with Twitch, so we'll figure that out. But we've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, Pat66. Oh, hello. Here's a new one. XX Big Xantax. Double X Big Xantax.
Big Ant.
Yeah. Oh, got it. So that's a vote for Edalus. We have 3 for Marthalia. We have 3 for Edalus. So we need a tiebreaker.
There's 4 for Edalus.
Wait, 1, is there? Oh, yep, you're right. I missed that one up there. 4 for Edalus, 3 for Marthaliel. We'll give it 10 more seconds. If no votes come in the next 10 seconds, we will close it off.
I'll put my head down. Not getting any more votes.
Oh man, that's twice he played. If I had a vote, I would give it. That's awful. I feel so bad for Azimir. He was a bit neglected at times today. There's no doubt. But that's the price of a half orc. You get the benefit of the incredible combat feats that you've had, but you're not exactly the favorite of all the humans that you meet. All right, so going once, going twice, and the winner is Edalus. Give a hand to Edalus for outstanding roleplay today, sir. Well done.
Good thumbs up.
And I think so. I'd like to real quickly here before we close off, and we're going to do a quick raid. We got a nice 22 viewers on today. Thank you so much for everybody that's watching. And thank you for our Saturday stream. That's not bad. Obviously, our normal stream is Sunday, and we have picked up as many as, I think we've had 30, 40, 50 viewers on Sundays. But for a Saturday stream, this is, I think, our really good one. So thank you, everyone, for being on. And we're going to do a raid in a second. But before we do a raid, let's do a quick behind the scenes. I want to hear, first of all, how the audio-visual experience was for you today as players. I'll get it from the stream a little bit later. I got a few viewers I can ping on that. But I'd like to know how you, no social charm advantages, Pat66, when you are the half-orc. That's exactly right. So I'd like to know sort of how the AV experience was for you, and then any sort of campfire chat, post-stream questions.
The only thing I really noticed was during the monster of the folks as they were saying things during the battle.
All right, well, it's ironic.
The balance was good, but that was the one part.
It's ironic that during my ask about the AV, that was the first time all day today your audio froze, so I didn't even hear what you said, so you want to try again?
Yeah, during the combat, the music was a little loud. I had a hard time hearing most people during that fight, which is why I had a couple of questions as far as like what had happened, because I just couldn't hear them over the music.
All right, good. And so that's something we need to go back and watch the stream and see if that was happening.
Mine was good. My end was like perfect. So
yours sounded good. Okay. Anyone else want to weigh on that?
I could hear it at all times. It did seem would fluctuate. It didn't seem, I mean, like I could always hear it, but it wasn't completely overwhelming on this side. But it did seem to change throughout, like as if somebody was messing with the mixer during the.
Yeah, so there wasn't messing with it, but there's also compressors that are turned on, so it could be something happening with compressors. Also, there's some extra Zoom audio controls that you might all want to make sure you have turned off, because Zoom will mess with your audio. It'll do ambient noise suppression, it'll do echo suppression. If you go into your Zoom audio settings, you can see the additional advanced options. I would recommend turning all those things off. They'll conflict with Windows. In general, I find any of that sort of additional accoutrement of processing screws things up, but that's good. Anyone else?
All right. I turned all that off.
Yeah, let's see if that helps you next time, because I found that that messed with me on my end. I turned it off, everything got better.
All right.
All right, anyone else? All right, any behind the scenes questions? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why didn't this happen? Like, I like, Ant, your question. You said, hey, wait a minute. He rolled an 18 and he still missed. Which makes you feel hopeless in the midst of that combat, right? But if you listen, so he's doing a ranged touch spell. Ranged touch will never be the strength of a wizard. That requires almost a hit-to-hit roll, which is different than most of your area of effect spells. And he indicated he had a +5. Now, I don't know if that's right or not. That seems pretty low to me, based on his level. But yeah, so a creature that has a high armor class, which that planar creature had a very high armor class, a +5 range attack is going to be almost impossible for you to hit. So it's either the wrong spell or he doesn't have the bonuses correctly calculated, if that makes sense. Might be something to look into, Holger. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, when I sent Rock off to mess with Ant, I kind of suspected that due to his composition, Rock wouldn't be affected by wind turbulence as much, but it kind of sounded like he teleported. What was going on with that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what you saw. Now, when we resume next time, if you want to do an arcane check, you can see if you can figure out exactly what he did, but there was clearly something that Rock did. So yes, he doesn't have feathers. He's not bulky, so he wouldn't have so much wind impedance. But these eagles move at a pace that no typical flying creature could move at. And so basically what you felt from Rock was that he could not naturally fly at a pace faster. So the moment he leaves your shoulder, right, it's like you're on the train and you jump off the train. The moment he jumps off your shoulder, he loses the momentum of the eagle. He was not going to be able to keep up. And yet in that moment, he revealed something to you, a new power, where he blinked from one place to another.
That's cool.
I'm sorry if that wasn't clear, but yeah, that's, yeah. And said you're welcome. That was your plan the whole time, right, Ant? You were just revealing Rock's powers. Well done.
Well, in other unrelated news, my phone is blowing up with notifications that Kim Jong-un is dead. So,
Really?
yes, his heart surgeon failed the procedure and he passed.
Well, who knew? Did anyone know?
Oh.
Goodbye, heart surgeon.
Goodbye, heart surgeon. Anyone connected with the heart surgeon?
His entire family, his lineage, everyone in his neighborhood, the greater city that he lived in, mass executions will follow. Are you serious?
Yep.
I think it was probably a sister, because doesn't she take over now, I heard, or something like that?
Yeah,
Well,
sure, second.
that's interesting. So I'm going to set up for a raid here in a second, but thank you for that little tidbit. I do have one other thing I want to say, but I want to make sure there's nothing else sort of behind the scenes or questions anyone wants to ask or comment on. So look, I want to say thank you to the players. I know this is a bit awkward. We've never done a remote stream with all of you. You're sitting in your house with your headsets on and your cameras, but I thought there were some really good moments. Play with your Zoom backgrounds. I think Azimir could have had a little bit of a better background, although maybe he wanted us to see all the trophies that he has against the wall there. I think Ant, I don't know what to say. Your background, yeah, okay. Bright green. I guess your green screen, I guess, right? So that was cool. But I do want to note it is in fact today the player of Azimir. His birthday is tomorrow.
Happy birthday!
Our Jordan will be 25 tomorrow. Let's give him a hand.
Happy birthday! You're finally going to be 16.
It was really hard making it here, you know.
Yeah.
Surviving.
But he.
America.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but he. You notice he got real no blessings from the DM today, so that's not how this rolls. Your birthday. Now, if the game had actually been on your birthday,
always tomorrow.
Let's see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's his actual birthday. Tune into Blue Box tomorrow, and then let's pick someone to raid, and I'll tell you who we're raiding before we do it.
Ixon doesn't really need any boons from the DM. He just steals it when he needs it. So.
All right. So we have Ruckus Adventures. That's a Pathfinder campaign. HCWS and Pickle Rick Pirate. Man, we are just a little too early for some of our friends. Gasumba's going to be streaming later tonight, but we don't time well with him. Have we ever done Ruckus Adventures on a raid?
Yeah, we've done them. We've done them a couple times.
We have?
Probably doing them again. Yeah.
Well, we've also got HDWS and Pickle. Let's do them. All right. There's not. Well, hang on. I'm wondering if there's somebody else we should raid. Yeah. Anyone else want to look to see if there are any good channels?
Let me get out of mod view here.
Yeah, pick up mod view because I'm only seeing 3 on the channels I follow, but there might be some channels we're not following that we might want to raid.
Yeah, let me go to the.
Hey, if you're on the chat right here, we got 20 viewers on the chat. If you have a recommendation for a raid, tell us who you think we should raid. Drop it in the chat, and we'll see if we can pull them up.
Let's see, D&D. Here we go. Waterdeep.
Literal, thank you for joining us from the Dwarven Halls today. We have a tavern. I think my background was a bit duplicative with some of the logos, so I'm going to do something different next time. I don't think it was probably the best thing to just have Blue Box sitting behind me the whole time. So we'll do something different next time. And Pat66, he sent something. It is GARGAMOND. So let me see if I can find that. GARGA.